Here's the Foxtowner, the only television magazine in the Valley by and about Valley folks.
And a good evening. I'm your host, Bill Day. This is the Foxtowner, and tonight, a pot of potpourri from the past summer. Well, where did you spend your June, July, and August when you weren't in town? Well, tonight I'm going to share a little bit of what I did this past summer, and I think you'll probably enjoy it. It's kind of like family home movies, except you're invited in. And we're going to take you up to the northern part of the state, up to, well, in this particular instance, up to Iron County, and just a couple of miles south of Lake Superior, into a region that at one time, let's say 360 million years ago, sported a range of mountains that were higher than today's Rockies. But given the fact that a couple of glaciers have come down the pike since that time, and had some effect down here in the valley as well, the once big mountains are kind of like this. But it left behind a very picturesque area. And it may have escaped a lot of you folks who perhaps think that places like, well, Door County or Minocqua or Wisconsin Dells is what Wisconsin Outdoors is all about, because it's not. Wisconsin Outdoors is, well, I think it's more represented by an area that's known today as the Pinocchio Mountain Range, and it's right here in Wisconsin. In fact, we're going to take you there in just a moment, but because this is real outdoors country, this isn't where the tenderfoot goes, we thought we ought to have some real expertise. So we've asked Ranger Tom to join us this evening. Ranger Tom.
Evening, Bill.
How you doing? You've spent quite a bit of time in the out-of-doors.
Oh, yes.
Scoutmaster, things of that nature.
Oh, hunt, fish, canoe.
Camping. And you've spent a lot of it up north.
Yes. Wisconsin primarily.
Many times you have been the main course for the mosquitoes and the horseflies and everything else that tries to use you as a cuisine as you are there.
A gourmet special.
By the way, I think we have to materialize your entire body here. There you go. There, I feel more comfortable with that. You've experienced the northern experience, I should say.
Oh, yes. Penetrated many a back trail.
Okay, that's where we want to take the folks. We wanted to set you qualifications because we are going on some real back trails. We're going where very few have really gone. But we hope that you would become a little bit more adventurous in the future and maybe explore some of this area of Wisconsin. But let's roll the tape on the Pinocchio Mountains. in logging is frowned upon.
Well, especially in that region, because normally around in the middle part of Wisconsin, that had been all covered up.
Now you see, this land, because it was clear-cut, and with the method that was used, and this is why we have to be environmentally conscious, this land has not recovered. By now, had that been properly harvested, there would have been a good stand of new trees there. There's nothing. Because what happens is the ground turns hard, the rainwater runs off, drags everything with it, and the land doesn't get a chance to recover. You'll notice there are some trees that look like, you know, brush. They're just never going to amount to anything for an awful long time.
It's just not enough soil, and whatever soil was up is washed out.
Yeah, it's all washed out, and it's almost like a desert in the middle of the forest area up there.
It's like a rocky desert.
Yeah, and it's really a shame that one company decided to do it this way. As I said, it was definitely frowned upon, and
Even at the time, I'm sure.
Well, and the industry itself doesn't approve of it. Although there are always, you know, a few rednecks.
There's freelancers.
The freelancers that'll go in and do it, and this is what they do to the land when they don't harvest it right. It's ruined. You would actually have to go in there and see. Here's a tree that's going to try to make it, but as you can see, it doesn't look all that healthy.
No, when you consider it takes 100 years to make an inch of soil.
Yeah.
It'll be a while.
It's going to be a little while. You'd actually have to go in there and plant it.
Plant it.
Here's something you're going to like. This is Alder Creek, which is in the same general vicinity. And when you think of a wilderness scene, you can't beat this.
No.
I want you to watch for something here, Tom. See that?
Look for your beavers.
See that tree way off in the distance there? That perfectly shaped Christmas tree?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do a close-up on that. But notice how still and calm that creek is. It is deep. It is very, very deep.
Now, that you wouldn't expect in this part.
Yeah, it's a very deep creek. All right, now I want to show you that Christmas tree. This area was logged some time ago, but
it's coming back.
It's definitely coming back. It was logged properly.
Mm-hmm.
And there also seems to be some evidence of forest fire, but I think that probably precedes that. Look at that.
Oh, forest fires were common in the 30s.
Yeah. Absolutely perfect tree.
Yes. When they grow out in the open.
Now, at one time in the northern part of the state, Wisconsin participated in one of the largest iron mining industries in the world. And that was part of the Gogebic Range, as they called it. Mm-hmm. This is the last standing remnant to evidence that there ever was a mining industry that at one time employed about 30,000 people. And this is the old Plummer Mine, which is west of Hurley. And it really should be on the Wisconsin State Historical Register as a reminder of an industry that once was and just is no more. And it's gone. It's been gone for better than 30 years. And this is all that's left. And it's going back to nature.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
We pledged our allegiance to it when we were young.
The flag was still there.
We studied its importance when we were in our teens.
He saw the flag.
We sing its praises at every sporting event. We display it when we celebrate.
Present.
Lower it when we mourn.
Our flag is presented on behalf of a grateful nation.
And honor our heroes with it when they've fallen. The flag of the United States of America. It stands for what we are and what we believe in. How we treat it says a lot about us.
Well, that's a little bit of some of the adventure that I had this past summer, and I thought I would share it with you, and I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe next summer you'd like to check it out for yourself. Ranger Tom want to thank you for joining us on the program this evening and sharing your observations with us.
My pleasure.
Now we'd like you to go back to your camera. Tom Hollenbeck was one of our camera people on the program here. Well, now, this is Christmas. No, it's not Christmas. I'm thinking ahead. This is the time of the year when we are going to be thinking of Christmas and winter and the cold weather ahead. And of course, that means things like potholes will be coming up next summer, because potholes are caused by the cold weather that's coming, right? And all the salt that's going on a road. And when all of this mixes up next spring, we have a pothole in the road. We've got a Foxtowner exclusive for you tonight. 'Tis not the way potholes occur. Potholes are created on our city streets by a rare breed of dog that is seldom seen.
The Foxtowner. Stay tuned.
Well, now, let's join the Caninus horribilis at work, creating potholes in Appleton streets. You'll see this rare breed of dog who creates these potholes. Until now, everyone thought it was frost and salt, but it's not. And here is the horribilis moving in on a part of the street that he will create a pothole in. Notice that intelligent mind. Oh, well, time for another day's work making potholes. Well, you can see the pothole is taking shape. And now, let's see if we can move in a little closer, because this is not random scratching. This dog is intelligently devising the method by which he will create this pothole. Notice the style. First of all, he digs a little bit into the ground, then pushes on the asphalt and caves it in. The pothole grows ever larger. And now, you'll notice that the Potholius caninus horribilis is studying the structure of the street very closely. He's going to attack this with engineering skill. Yes, folks, this is how your potholes develop in city streets. They ought to actually be changed to dog holes. Now imagine millions of these dogs all over the world, and you can quickly understand why we have the pothole problem that we have. Now notice, if the scratching doesn't do it, we'll just bite off a piece of street. And of course, this particular breed of dog is dedicated and loyal to the task for which he has been bred and created. So the next time you run into a pothole, just think of this scene. Thousands of these dogs helping our nation's economy by wrecking tires, knocking out mufflers and shock absorbers, and of course keeping the asphalt people well employed. Our salute to the caninus Potholius horribilis. We'll be right back.
Foxtowner, the only television magazine in the Valley by and about Valley folks.
Good evening. Welcome to the Foxtowner. I'm your host, Bill Day. The Gulf War appears ready to retire to the history books, and without a question, history is going to say that it was a decisive military operation. It will footnote that the action had the support of the American people. But what historians might overlook is that the Gulf War marked the end of a 20-year attitude nationwide. During the 1960s, the anti-war fever of that era reached an unrealistic plateau, with servicemen and women becoming unwitting victims of a public outrage. And then society finally corrected that ill with the dawn of the decade of the 1980s. Americans finally kicked out the social ills that were born of the 60s decade, a period that many social observers now pinpoint as a time which contributed to the breakdown of many traditional American values. The riots, the public disobedience of that time, the rise of the drug culture, and, of course, the attitude toward returning Vietnam vets, they were all symptomatic of what we now recognize as having been a sick period in our history. Ironically, with the Gulf War, it appears that as a society, we have diagnosed the symptoms, and we are now making an effort toward the cure. We saw that with the blossoming of thousands of yellow ribbons as Operation Desert Storm began to develop. We cheered fighting people instead of jeers. And war protesters, well, they were being viewed as freaks. And suddenly, Americans recalled such things as fighting to stop an unholy aggressor who picked on a tiny nation as an important thing. You know, that's really an encouraging and a refreshing change from the sickness of the 60s, which has haunted us for so long. And as a people, well, we're unashamedly proud to proclaim again that we are proud.
Hours ago, Allied air forces began an attack on military targets in Iraq and Kuwait. These attacks continue as I speak. Ground forces are not engaged. This conflict started August 2nd when the dictator of Iraq invaded a small and helpless neighbor. Saddam Hussein's forces will leave Kuwait. The legitimate government of Kuwait will be restored to its rightful place. And Kuwait
I want to thank Jeff Ers of Brandon for the video you just saw. Jeff put it together on his own home equipment. He's a member of the JCs and recently debuted the video at an area gathering of JCs. And for the past several months, it's been must viewing before the beginning of many JC meetings at area chapters. Well, speaking about the JCs, I want to thank the group, that is the Appleton area JCs, for presenting me with this award recently. We've had an opportunity of working with the JCs from time to time, and I thank them for this. It's always good to get a pat on the back. And I would just like to say that if you're a younger person, say 21 to 35, somewhere in that area, and you're new in the Fox cities and trying to get your bearings and your feet on the ground and would like to really get into the community, the JCs is just the type of organization you need. I know many years ago, I was a JC myself. Then I began to become a expired rooster. That's the term that they use. But once you've been a JC, you never lose your affinity for the organization. And we're always glad to help out when we can. Well, when we return, we're going to take a flashback on the recent campaign of Governor Tommy Thompson. Tommy Thompson is Wisconsin's governor again, following a shoo-in election last November. Of course, that's old news, and all of you are aware of that. You'll recall that he amassed an incredible record over 4 years, which voters who seldom pay any attention to politicians once in office seem to be fully aware of. That made it almost impossible for Democrat Tom Loftus to get his campaign engine started. Thompson's track record, his campaign style, have generated the title Thompson Magic. Of course, that was coined by the state's journalists. We thought we'd explore once again the ingredients of Thompson Magic. Foxtowner cameras followed Thompson during his campaign last fall over a several-month period, and several points become clear. First of all, Thompson really enjoys campaigning, and the people he meets genuinely like him. Here's a capsule essay of that Thompson Magic. We begin early in the campaign with Governor Thompson at a pep talk to campaign volunteers, and we close with election night victory.
I need your help. I need your support. I appreciate it very much. We've come a long way. The state of Wisconsin is really doing well. Compared to the rest of the country, we're doing exceptionally well. We got a whole new attitude. It's one of optimism, one of success, and one of values that mean that tomorrow can be stronger and better than it is today. Compared, you know, it's interesting to also find out what's happening around the world. The USSR, of course, this week voted to allow free religion in the USSR. And I think that was really a giant step forward. Then back in Madison, the Madison School Board voted it out. Give me a high five. There you go. There you go. Turn right around. Down low. Turn right around here. Turn right around and smile. You'll be on the paper right there. And a thumbs up, all right? Thumbs up, all right? There you go. What's your name? Tell that man right there. I'll tell you. See ya. Fine. How are you? See ya. Hi, Jack. How are you? Pretty good. Good to see you. We're going to vote now. November, yeah. How are you, sir? Good to see you. Oh, yes. Watch the debate? Thank you. Good. Good. What a great day for a party, I'll tell you. I'm doing fine. How are you? Good. Good. How are you, sir? Good. How are you? You here for some food and all, you think? No. How are you? John Beach. Thank you. How are you, sir? You got it? Oh, good. I love you. Now put your thumbs up now. Come on, get your thumbs up there. There we go. Don't you fall over there, Jack. Jack Richardson, you're going to fall off of there if you don't watch out, I'll tell you. Thank you so very much. Isn't it great to be a Republican, ladies and gentlemen?
If tomorrow all the things were gone I've worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I thank my God above to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. Wisconsin to the Chippewa Valley, across the dells and dairies to Racine's industry, from Ashland down to Stoughton and right like to Green Bay. There's pride in every Wisconsin heart. It's time to stand and say and I
We pledged our allegiance to it when we were young.
The flag was still there.
We studied its importance when we were in our teens.
He saw the flag.
We sing its praises at every sporting event. We display it when we celebrate.
Present.
Lower it when we mourn.
Our flag is presented on behalf of a grateful nation.
And honor our heroes with it when they've fallen. The flag of the United States of America. It stands for what we are and what we believe in. How we treat it says a lot about us.
Well, there's one day out of the year when it belongs totally to the Irish. In fact, the would-be Irish as well. Everyone wants to be Irish on St. Patrick's Day. Ranger Tom!
You forgot about your wearing of the green.
Oh, my wearing of the green. A sacrilege to introduce the St. Patty's segment and not have my green with me. Thank you very much for keeping me legal. As we were saying, once a year it's St. Patrick's Day, and everyone who would like to be Irish is. And that's why they call it St. Patty's Day. It's getting to be a bigger and bigger event in Appleton each year. Just in case you happen to be one of those poor, unfortunate people who missed St. Patty's this year, well, here's your chance. We're going to give you St. Patrick's Day, Appleton style, once over lightly. And the wearing of the green.
Happy Paddy's Day to you. Thank you.
Hi, Bear. That's a bear. Hi, that's just one song. Just one song I heard.
Turn this way right here.
Ah, look at that. Look at that. Oh, I hear the song. Good one. What? Come back. Ah, you got that top, so.
Well, that's a little bit of the parade that was held on College Avenue. There was more to it than what we've shown you, but we're running out of time, and we want to take you to the Paper Valley Hotel, because that's where all the good Irishmen went after the parade was over. And let's go to the hotel.
Ranger Tom here. I regret to say that our host, Mr. Day, has last been seen jigging down College Avenue following the Irish Parade. And so we bid you all good night.
The Valley TV magazine, The Foxtowner, is seen twice monthly. Check your Cablevision TV program guide for the next Foxtowner date. If you have a subject idea, you think you should appear on The Foxtowner, or want to express an opinion, call The Foxtowner at 731-9790 any day after 11:30 a.m. Your calls are welcome. This is your announcer, Jim Shador, inviting you to join us again. Foxtowner is a Libra Day presentation. Here's the Foxtowner, the only television magazine in the Valley by and about Valley folks.
To try it anyway. I read in the trade papers recently where an applicant to the FCC is proposing that a new television station that he bought, since we're going to talk. A successful talk program, it is of course necessary that you act crazy when you start moving around so that they don't know what you're doing. I want to show you a picture of a fat kid. Remember I mentioned a few minutes ago, I said that I had been a host of talk programs for like 23 years in the Valley.
Mm-hmm.
This fat kid right here was me the very first time in Time magazine. And I caught something a couple of days ago that really kind of made me just want to go off into orbit. Don, Tom, I'll throw this at both of you. If I were to ask you, what is one of the larger and fastest growing industries in the state of Wisconsin, what do you think it would be? Don, you want to give it a shot? Don't say paper, because we know it's all around us. This is in addition to paper. What do you think would be one of the faster growing industries in Wisconsin? Give it a hazard. You won't win $500, but
Fastest growing industry?
One of the fastest growing industries. One that's really, you know, they're building, it's expanding. A lot of people are going to work into it, and maybe someday you'll get married to somebody who works in it, who knows? Ring any bells?
No.
Tom, what would you think?
Well, it's apart from tourism and...
It's apart from tourism, right? Right, we can play 20 questions with this.
Sure.
It's apart from tourism.
I'm looking perhaps at the development of medical and health.
Okay. And you don't have to drop out at this point, Don. You can keep, if you get an idea, you know, go ahead, shoot it right in, whatever you think it is.
And financial services, including insurance.
Medical, financial services, okay. Don, any other ideas before I finally unload on both of you? No ideas. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll end the agony. Printing industry.
Yes, I work for one.
Yes, that's why I wondered if you were going to get that. You're in the industry. Right, it is one of the largest expanding industries in Wisconsin. It's growing. It's going to add considerably to Wisconsin's economic base. That's why, when I saw this article in Time magazine, I don't know, can we just catch a camera close-up of this, just so that if there's anyone at home with a copy of this issue of Time, they might want to look at this column right here. This is also called Drive the Crew Crazy Night on the program. Well, folks, this is what television is going to be like. There's no rehearsal. If you're going to start rehearsing talk programs, I mean, it's not going to be a talk program. It's just going to be another panel discussion. Okay, that's good. I think everybody's got the picture. All right. Well, anyway, the article is entitled "Not Made in the USA." And I'm just going to quote a little bit of it here, and then you'll see why I decided to go into orbit and say, that's enough of that crap. What could be more all-American than the U.S. postage stamp? Almost anything. In a move to stir the outrage among patriotic Americans, the U.S. Postal Service disclosed last week that 2 issues from a new series of stamps, USA postage, right? Are going to be printed in...
Wisconsin? In Canada?
Canada! American postage stamps printed in Canada. Now, I've got nothing against the Canadians because they're beautiful people, and I love going to Canada, and I've got to say that because I have a branch of our family, relatives, who live in Thunder Bay, where Miguel from Milwaukee took off for. What do they call her? Bambi? Yeah. Bambi.
Oh.
Yeah, Bambi took off to Thunder Bay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I've got relatives who live there, so I have to say nice things about the Canadians. And they got nothing about the Canadians, and I think that this new American-Canadian trade pact, I think, is a wonderful thing. So, you know, I've got no complaints except, you know, we don't have to print our stamps. And here in Wisconsin, for example, we've got printing plants that are capable of printing this kind of stuff. You see what this is here? Look at that. Absolute, tremendous, highest quality printing you could find. You know, American-made paper, American-made negatives.
Well, a lot of the time is printed here in Wisconsin.
Sure. This was not only printed in Wisconsin, and this is probably about the highest class printing you can get. This was printed right here on the Fox Cities. I don't want to give free advertising, but the plant is along Highway 41 as you're driving, you know. And that's where this was printed, right here. And so we go to Canada to get our postage stamps printed. And this is the state that's developing a giant printing industry. Where is Toby Roth when we need him? 3 times we've asked Toby Roth to be a guest on this program, and he has yet to return our calls. I wish I had a picture of Toby to show all of you in case you don't know him, and you'd have a chance to see what he looks like, so next time he's walking down College Avenue, you could say, hey, Toby, how come you didn't go on Bill Day's program, the Foxtowner, talk about American stamps being printed in Canada? But do you want to hear something that's even worse than that?
It's hard to imagine.
When Red Skelton was in the Fox Cities about a year ago, he pointed out, and Red Skelton loves to ride the postal department. And Red Skelton owns buildings that house post offices.
Yes, and he admits this.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Derives a good
We
deal.
have had American postage stamps, good people, printed in Hong Kong. I can accept the Canadians better than I can the Hong Kong. It probably sounds like I'm being bigoted. I'm not. But what I'm saying is, why do we have to go anywhere to get our postage stamps printed when we could get them printed here? I mean, when we've got industries right here in town, that printing a postage stamp, my God, would be a simple, almost elementary thing.
One of the fundamentals.
Yes. Don, you got any thoughts? Does this shake you? Does this anger you? Does this make you want to go to the street with signs in hands and say, down with the postal department for going to Canada for stamps?
Well, it may be a trade-off. Maybe if the Canadians come here and have their stamps printed, we have to check that out.
I haven't heard of it.
I haven't heard either.
Well,
Maybe.
What do you think, Don?
maybe they have to make the stamps so they can send the stamps here.
In other words, reverse postage.
Yeah.
Sure. But now you have to remember our transport
You make a
industry.
good bureaucrat?
Our transport industry will pick up the difference, though.
By carting all these stamps back.
They'll have to cart them back.
But has it occurred to you that maybe they have to ship these stamps back to Washington by mail, and they'll be using Canadian postage, not American postage, to ship it back?
Well, it's we deal with the Canadian system, and a lot of the companies will send their trucks into Buffalo so that the mail is quicker. And they'll put that in the mail system here, because the Canadian always gets through, but it may be a little slow.
You know what I think? And I think this is going to happen in the year 2000, and with this I will now begin an international incident. I think it's time, now that we've got this, trade agreement between the United States and Canada together, I think it's time for Canada and the United States to merge into the United States, the United States of America and Canada.
Yes, well, the Irishmen have been working on it for years.
Then our stamps would be made in the country.
That's right. That keeps the stamps in the country.
Sure.
Absolutely. Then people on talk shows don't have to sit and complain about it.
Right.
Then next time we pick up a thing like this and it says here that American stamps are printed in Canada, we can say, well, that's all right. That's in the country.
That's one of our 52nd state.
However,
Big state.
That'll stir the pot.
I can see another problem coming out of that Ranger town. Quebec won't go along with it.
No.
So then, if I know the mentality of the Postal Department, they will go to Quebec.
Sure, we can have our stamps printed in Quebec then.
And then all of the American stamps will be in French.
In French.
Instead of English.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if we solved anything. It's just that and like I say, I've got no axe to grind with the Canadians. And the United States and Canada are one of these days going to merge and consolidate as one country. And if you left it up to the people in the western provinces of Canada, they would have done it a couple of years ago already.
Oh, it came pretty close.
So, and who knows, if the people of Quebec decide that there's going to be a country called Quebec and not part of Canada anymore, it could happen in all of our lifetimes. I mean, after all, how many of us ever thought we'd live to see the Berlin Wall come down? Right?
Yeah, it was unthinkable.
That's right, and all the other things that are happening. So the United States and Canada coming together as one country is very feasible. And it all happened because of the fact that we had our postage stamps printed.
That was the start, yes.
Yes. This is the Foxtowner. I'm Bill Day. We'll be back with our guests right after this.
The Foxtowner. Stay tuned.
What's the other way to beat the evening rush? The other's satisfying working lunch.
Those look good to me.
The other way to get into that little black dress. What is this other tempting food for thought? It's the other white meat, none other than pork.
During the commercial, I was reading about yuppies, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. Welcome back. I'm Bill Day. This is a program. It's a whole cast of thousands. We call it the Foxtowner. Almost forgot. Ranger Tom, we welcome you back once again for the second portion, and Don Klein, of course, as we get back into more stimulating discussion. Before we talk about the death of yuppiedom, which incidentally will not be met with a tear in the eye, but widely cheered, just like the end of the war in Iraq, I've got one little suggestion that I'd like to make. We are entering the warm weather season right now, and I know that there's this great urge to rush the season a little bit by some of the young ladies who are in our audience. I'm trying to be discreet about this as much as I possibly can. And that urge to want to run out into the street with their tight tights and short shorts, which of course is very nice in June and July and August and September. But girls, this time of the year, before you venture out onto the street in your tight tights and your short shorts, spend a few minutes in the backyard, because most of you right now look like you jumped out of a bottle of formaldehyde. Now let's talk about yuppies. Don, you know what a yuppie is, don't you? Do you like yuppies?
Do I like them?
Do you like yuppies? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Do you think, let's put it this way. No, that was an unfair question. Do you want to become a yuppie?
Yeah.
You do want to be a yuppie? Okay.
No.
You don't want to be a yuppie. Tom, have you known any yuppies?
A few, but I kept my distance.
Well, I don't know. I have always maintained this. There is no such thing as a yuppie. Never has been.
Not really.
No. And I think that people who've been walking around with what they consider to be the yuppie image and stuff have been kind of deluding themselves, sort of a status symbol. It's something that grew out of the selfishness of the 1980s, and we're glad to see that era gone. Just to recount a little bit of history for you, it says here, and we quote, "The social history of American life since the early 1980s can be encapsulated in the ever-changing images conveyed by the simple six-letter word, yuppie." In other words, that meant success.
Yep. Well,
it began, the word yuppie first appeared in 1983, and what it was a takeoff on the word preppy. Remember that word?
Oh, yeah.
Preppy?
These are the graduates.
Yeah. And it was associated with Gary Hart. And ever since...
He personified it, yeah.
Yeah, and from that point on, everybody thought that there was a yuppie. And of course, the yuppie image actually became one of greed.
It carried a good thing too far. It's nice to hear the jingle in the pocket.
Sure.
But all of a sudden, when you're immersed in it, accumulation and ambition carried to excesses, particularly in... it's all right to materially defeat your opponents and leave them penniless, bankrupt. That kind of ruthlessness, the old robber baron reworked type of image.
What about your generation, Don? I asked you if you wanted to be a yuppie. I saw a girl in the Fox River Mall one day. She must have been a little bit younger than you, I think. And she had a sweater on that said, "Die, yuppie scum." Have you seen anything like that?
No.
I just wonder which generation this will personify. Is it yours, or is it the one that's following you?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, anyway, according to Time magazine, we have seen the birth and death of yuppiedom. And they have done a lot of research. There have been 22,000 articles in the past 10 years written about yuppies.
Is that right?
22,000 articles about a non-existent group.
Yeah.
It says, yuppies are once again pronounced dead at the arrival of this recession.
Well, I think in certain areas, we saw it with the stockbrokers who made, at very early ages, you know, late 20s, early 30 years of age, were making hundreds of thousands of dollars on Wall Street. Suddenly, here the recession comes, and they're, for 2 years, actually 87, and they're out the door looking for jobs equal in finances, and they're worth that many.
And if you're broke and you're looking for a job, how can you possibly be a yuppie?
Sure. You drive up for your unemployment line in your Mercedes-Benz. The house is for sale. Quick.
I read a magazine article just recently which said that there's been a very sudden thing happening in American society almost as rapidly as the war began and all of the other changes that have occurred in the world, that people are beginning to kick their materialistic values, that no longer is it necessary to have designer clothes or, as the yuppies did, drive a BMW. A Honda's very fine, thank you.
And you definitely, if you went jogging, you had to have the right stripes.
Right. And champagne is no longer in, it's beer. And that of course, has led to the birth that we've seen of a lot of these microbreweries.
Sure, all over the state.
Sure, and all over the country, too.
Yes.
So we've seen some very fast changes, evolutionary. Don, do you feel this at all? Do you see this happening? How about you, girl?
Yeah.
What are the kids your age thinking? Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us, old guys. What's coming up? What can we expect from your gang?
From us?
Yeah.
What directions?
Quite a lot.
What directions
Yeah.
are they looking to? Yeah.
It's so hard to talk because there's so many
So many-
different things and different people. I mean, it's from total extremes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Find
For
more-
example, a few years ago, let's say 5 years ago, there were articles appearing in the paper that there was a lot of despair among kids, that they felt like there really was no future, that, you know, we're all going to be A-bombed out of existence and stuff like that. Is this still a prevalent thought with your group, or are you looking at different values?
I think we're looking more at different values.
A little more optimism.
Yeah. In the
Do you feel
future.
you've got a future?
Yeah.
There's things to prepare for in the schooling.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily think it has to be a future that's full of wealth and luxury, or do you?
No.
Yeah.
I'd
Not
rather
mandatory, in other words.
I'd rather have fun.
Yeah.
Along the way.
That's the way we felt in the 50s when we were in high school. We'd rather have fun and make love than war. And then the 60s came, the 70s and the 80s, and here we are all together again. It seems, Tom, that there's almost a full circle occurring in the American society as far as what people value. And look
Well, it's like a big ship that rocks, and when you get one extreme, you know, then people start moving a little bit more to the center or to the other extreme.
Yeah.
In the same family, you'll find some of that.
Well, anyway, we are so happy to report the death of Yuppie-Dum. And let's just pretend that this was the requiem of same here on the program today. Speaking about things that represent greed and... who stole the cover off of this? It had a cover when we came in here. Oh, there it is.
Right here.
Speaking about things that exemplify greed and lust and things that seem to be getting a little bit out of step with the American norm, this proliferation of 900 numbers that you see on television. Dial 1-900 and get your horoscope. Dial 1-900 and learn how to make $1 million. And by the way, it costs you $10 a minute to learn how to do that. And after you've talked for 15 minutes to whoever's 900 number that is, you know who's made the $1 million, and it hasn't been you who's the caller.
Why, sure.
And then, but the sleaziest, I mean, these are really sleazy, are those 1-900 numbers where they say, "Hi, would you like to make love tonight?" You know what makes me sick about this one? I think of all the amazing technology and development and research that went in to create this medium called television, you know? The years, the sweat that people put in, learning how to draw those little circuits that first of all would take an electrical image and send it through the air so that you could create an image like us, you know, on the tube somewhere. I mean, the tremendous technology that was involved, and then to turn it into color, and now stereo and color, and very soon high-definition TV, which is coming around the corner. And I'm predicting that the day is going to come when we're going to see holographic television, because it's only the next natural step that should follow HD TV. Your kids, Don, will have that.
It'll be the rage.
Yeah, you'll be a grandma. They'll be inviting grandma over to come and watch holographic television. That's what you can look forward to. Anyway, these 900 numbers really are sick and are degrading to the television industry, and I don't know why any intelligent television station manager, and I have not met very many, would even allow that crap on their TV stations. We'll be back to talk about that in a minute.
When you call, you'll hear real people talking about themselves and what they're looking for in another person. Best of all, you'll get the real names and phone numbers from people who want to hear from you. So no more excuses, okay? Meet someone special. Call the Love Line. I think it'll be really good for you.
Call the Love Line. Dial 1-900-646-7900. $2 a minute. Adults only, please.
So much for the 900 type. I just thought I would run that just to remind everybody what it is that these are sick. I mean, they are really sick. I couldn't believe it, but one night I was watching, Sunday night television is particularly bad in the Fox cities, you know, on the air TV. It could almost make me want to subscribe to cable. And I was searching around all the channels trying to find something to watch, and here was this phony faith healer, you know, that was on one of the channels, and he was telling everybody how he's healing everyone, and send me $50, and when we touch the TV screen together, you're going to be healed and stuff like that. Then after the program was over for the break, this station ran 5 minutes of 900 numbers telling everyone that if they want to, you know, find mad, passionate love, call these numbers. I mean, this is what happens when you put accountants in charge of radio stations and television stations. You don't get programming anymore, you get junk.
You get financially remunerated.
To think that there were people like Farnsworth and Sarnoff and Tesla, even before that, who gave their lives literally to develop the technology for all of this, so that some idiot could say, well, we'll run these 900 numbers because we can squeeze a lot of money out of people with it. And that's all it is. When these 900 numbers are run and you pick up the phone and you call it, the station gets a cut, the telephone company, sorry Ma Bell, but you're involved with this with the rest of them, gets a cut. Naturally, the people who put it on are getting a big cut, and it's a sucker game. They've used this beautiful technology to turn it into a sucker game.
Maybe something points back to the American. We're a little bit overawed with our technologies, and we forget that the creative people, the writers and the producers of this type of thing, are the people who put something worthwhile in front of television.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a void there.
That could very well be, and maybe that's why we're, you know, seeing this. I can't imagine people wanting to sit up at night and watch that. I don't know.
I assure you I don't.
I don't believe that any of that ilk is watching our program.
I suspect not. They're calling.
They're calling the 900 numbers. So, if you'd like to get the real inside, ladies and gentlemen, dial 1-900-SCUD, and you'll get yours.
Thank you, no.
We started off tonight's program with the idea that we were going to put on a talk show because, as we mentioned earlier in the program, the entire industry seems to be going talk show crazy all of a sudden, and we decided we wanted our niche. And I think I've kind of decided I like this idea. I think we ought to do this more often. It's fun.
Well, we cover the span of years, that's
It's easier than editing a lot of tapes. We get it together a lot faster.
And if we need music, we can hum.
We can hum, that's right. Da, 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 da. We could have used that.
We did that.
Yeah,
we did that.
So, you know, they've got a lovely, that is a beautiful national anthem. I love that Canadian national anthem. And they got such a pretty flag, too. The
maple leaf.
Maple leaf.
Of course, Wisconsin, I love the maples.
Yeah. So, remember, you're giving Canada a lick when you buy your postage stamp. That doesn't quite ring just exactly right, does it? We'll do another talk show on the Foxtowner, and who knows what we'll be coming up with. Don, I want to thank you for joining us.
Hey, it was my pleasure.
Yeah, you got any friends that'd like to come down sometime and become television stars? Bring them along. We'll talk with them, okay?
Okay.
You know, tell them to watch this program. Maybe that'll inspire them. And Ranger Tom, you're welcome anytime. And if you've got any old cronies laying around that'd like to join us, you invite them on too.
Thank you very much.
And you folks out there, if you'd like to come on sometime and just say, hey, I'd like to sit and just chew the fat with you guys some evening and not talk about anything in particular, give me a call because the number appears at the end of the program when the credits run, and we could set it up, and you know, we can do magnificent productions anytime.
Well, certainly.
Yeah. We don't need to do that every show. And since talk is going to become the in thing now on television, I mean, why should we be out of it?
Definitely not.
In fact, I was watching a talk show the other night, as a matter of fact, where there was a fellow who's been a producer on television for a long time, was lamenting the fact that we're seeing the demise, at least for the moment, of documentaries on television. And I always thought the documentaries were one of the finest forms of television art. And we're going into this kind of stuff now, so.
Sure. Well, it may be the revival of the porch.
The back porch.
The back porch.
That would be a good name for a talk show.
Yes.
Welcome to tonight's Back Porch.
Yes. Neighbors dropping in on neighbors.
Thanks for joining us. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week. I'm Bill Day. We'll be back for another edition of the Foxtowner.
The Valley TV magazine, the Foxtowner, is seen twice monthly. Check your Cablevision TV program guide for the next Foxtowner date. If you have a subject idea, you think you should appear on the Foxtowner, or want to express an opinion, call the Foxtowner at 731-9790 any day after 11:30 a.m. Your calls are welcome. This is your announcer, Jim Shador, inviting you to join us again. Foxtowner is a Libra Day presentation. Here's the Foxtowner, the only television magazine in the Valley by and about Valley folks.
Welcome to another edition of the Foxtowner. I'm your host, Bill Day. Today, our guest is Marcia Brewer. Marcia's a member of the Appleton City Council. Marcia, what ward is that again?
4th Ward.
Okay, I can't remember everybody's ward.
By West High School.
That sets it geographically quite well. And in a few minutes, you and I are going to be sitting here and talking about some possibilities for the Avenue Mall shopping center, we hope.
I hope it's a shopping center, yes.
Right. Okay. We'll hold that for just a moment. But first of all, this day I would like to talk just a few minutes about bottled water. Have we got a good picture of the bottled water? There we go. We want everyone to see their bottled water. I don't know if, well, I suspect that you must have caught all of the stories that have appeared in the paper and have been on the various TV, radio news programs about this very expensive bottled water you people have been buying, and you've found out that you haven't been getting anything more, and probably in some cases even less than what you would find in your what is that you turned, Marcia?
Your faucet.
Your faucet, right. When you tap your city water. I'm glad you're here today.
We don't all pump anymore.
No, I keep forgetting that because I have to get up in the morning and go out in the backyard and pump, you know. And when it gets to some of this high technology stuff like faucets, I'm just absolutely lost. You know, I just can't. But anyway, people have been paying humongous prices to get something like this. Now, I got this at a local grocery store the other day. I'm going to use it in my car for the radiator. I'm going to throw this in the back of the truck, and if I run out of, yeah, if I run out of water sometime, I'll have some extra water for the radiator and what have you. But people have been paying tremendous prices. I've seen regular, ordinary bottled water selling for as much as $1.79 a quart, which means you're paying, you know, a couple of dollars a gallon. Can you imagine if the city water bill came in at that rate?
We'd make money hand over fist.
Oh my! You know, it would probably cost you. I had somebody do some figuring on that, but it would probably cost you about $40,000 to $50,000 a month to pay your water bill.
I think the normal bill runs about $15 a month, right, for city water.
Now, I can't understand why people have ever gotten hung up on this bottled water. I think it's something that's, I don't know, it comes out of the health food nut period or something like that. Like, you know, people drink this stuff and they think, I'm going to get strong, I'm going to get healthy, you know, and they you know, guzzle down some of this, look how strong and healthy I am and stuff. And, you know, sometimes they're drinking diesel fuel with it, which is what's happened in one case. Anyway, I've often thought that this stuff is just a bunch of hogwash. You know, you can package anything and sell it to an American, and here it is. You know, it's got this very generic little label saying springtime drinking water. How can we go wrong with springtime drinking water?
Does that one have bubbles in it?
No, this hasn't been carbonated like some of them
I
have
like the
been.
bubbles.
Well, actually, I will admit that there is one brand of bottled water. It's not bottled water. It's in the 6-pack can.
I buy 6-pack.
Yeah, where they put a little bit of a lemon flavor in it and then a little shot of carbonation, and it's not bad, you know. But I'm talking about just the plain generic water that you buy. Well, in other words, in order to emphasize what I'm talking about tonight, I thought that we would have a water drinking contest. And the beautiful Letitia Labat is here serving us right now. And thank you, Letitia. Ranger Tom, would you like to join us here? Do you think you could leave your camera fixed and then, good. Oops. He knocked the camera over. Oh my God.
The colors are different.
Yeah. Now you'll notice, yeah, I don't know if we can get this here at all. Can you get a little bit of a close-up here? This is mystery water. We're going to be drinking some of this mystery water.
And we're the guinea pigs.
Well, I'm going to drink with you.
Do I call my insurance man first?
I want you to notice something here now. This water here, can you get that? This is crystal clear. See how sparkling clear that is?
Mm-hmm.
You got that? Okay. And notice these, now this is water, which when it comes out of whatever water comes out of, notice this has a very distinctive color to it.
Kind of a cream color.
Yeah, maybe this is how cream soda was born or something. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, anyway, I thought we would have a water tasting contest here this morning. Give me a drink. Today. And let me tell you what the origin of this water is. One of it is ordinary city tap water. Another is well water. And another is this springtime drinking. That's why I had this here. And what I thought we could do is we could each take a taste and evaluate it. So, Marcia, why don't you be the bottom row? Tom, you be the top row.
All right.
And I will be the middle row. And let's start off with this very sparkling water that we have here. Okay.
Well, there's no fragrance.
Has a rather smooth and docile flavor to it.
Rather bland.
A little bit on the bland side, yeah, but it's
okay.
But
I'll drink that.
it's okay. Yeah.
I do feel healthy and stronger.
Do you feel healthy and stronger? No. Let's take water number 2, and this is now our cream-colored water.
I'm a little suspicious about the color.
You'll know.
This tasted heavier.
This tasted heavier?
Yes, this tasted heavier.
No,
It seems lighter.
This water here has a very distinct flavor to it.
There's a lot of minerals in there.
A lot of minerals in this water.
And it may have more oxygen.
Some of them may be chromium and mercury.
Depends on if it was pasteurized.
Well, I'll tell you where I got it from after you drink it.
You did already tell us, didn't you?
Okay, that's water number 2. Very distinct flavor, very, very naughty, as
Somehow
they would
we
say.
should have some crackers between water.
You know, I didn't think of that, but being a low-budget show, we couldn't afford crackers this week.
I detect this as a little creamier, a little darker hue. We'll see if that makes a difference.
Now, this is smoother, definitely less flavor.
No flavor, yeah.
Yeah, but nonetheless, it's still the same color as the other water. It is not the same water, however. I'm not trying to trick you or anything. These are all 3.
It's a little heavier.
Yeah,
It's a little lighter than the white to me, and a little heavier, a little more body.
a little bit. Yeah, it's got a little bit more body to it. Say, this stuff got body. Not bad. Well,
I know which one I like.
okay. Which one did you like, Marcia?
Number 1.
You like number 1?
Yeah.
Okay. Which one did you like, Tom?
Well, I guess I would prefer that.
Yeah, I like that one too. Although I can very easily handle number 2 here. It is a little bit too full flavored. I would like it normally, and I think on a hot day it would be absolutely delicious. Let's see what we've got here. The last one was city water. The middle one was well water, and this real white stuff is the bottled drinking water.
You should have asked us to what we guessed would have
Kind
been.
of a mixed vote there, huh?
I should have done that, yeah.
Would have been most interested. They can do that.
As of next week, your program director.
I would have guessed number 1 was the city water.
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting. The city water
I might have gone.
is the same color as the well water.
Yeah.
You know, I think the only difference is that the city water has been softened. That's that body you were talking about.
Yeah.
And when you soften the water, of course, you take out
some of the minerals.
The minerals and the flavor. The reason this well water tastes the way it does is because it is full of the minerals. They haven't been taken out.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Well,
interesting.
The point being that you really don't have to spend $1.79 a quart for this stuff in order to get good water. Although, admittedly, this bottled water is more attractive in appearance. And that comes from the filtering.
I have never noticed the color of the city water before. I always assumed it was crystal clear.
That's because you see it under ordinary light. But under these lights here, which are designed to enhance color, you will see the color, and there it is. Well, Letitia, would you
do one thing?
What's that?
It slacked my thirst.
Yes. Yeah, when you're sitting under studio lights like this, nothing like having some water. Well, anyway, that's our water bit for tonight. And, I've got one other bit of information to pass along to you. Remember last week I mentioned that there was a big uproar that had been raised about the fact that American postage stamps were being printed in Canada? Well, a report in the newspapers this week has rescinded all of that. The Postal Department says that they are now going to look around and get this. They're going to see if they can find a printer in the United States who can print the stamps. I tell you, those people at the Postal Department, one thing they're not gifted in, and that is in the art of public relations and speaking. If they can find a printer that can print it, that's interesting.
I really hope they continue to print our money here.
Yeah. Oh, God. Well, so much for the water, so much for the stamps. Marcia Brewer is our guest today, and we'll be back with Marcia in just a moment.
The Foxtowner. Stay tuned.
What's the other reason for chopsticks? The other light, late-night bite.
Up in a minute, Hank.
The other fast family favorite. The other romance and candlelight. What is this other tempting food for thought? It's the other white meat, none other than pork.
Welcome back. I'm Bill Day. This is the Foxtowner. Well, as we said earlier in the program, we're going to spend some time talking with Marcia Brewer, Appleton Alderman, about the Avenue ramp. And of course, that certainly has been a topic of discussion. I think any place you go these days, mostly spurred by the fact that the mall has apparently sold for how do they say it in the mafia? I've got a deal you can't resist, or something like that. What was that? It's almost how it sounded like it came out. Like
unspeakably low amount.
Yeah, right. And that, I think, shocked everybody more than anything else, because everyone expected that there was going to be a bargain out there. But no one, I don't think, ever thought they were just going to simply find manna from heaven falling all over.
Even I didn't think it would go that low. I thought perhaps somewhere between $1 million, which was the offer rejected last year, I heard, and the $2 million. I figured it would be somewhere in there, but I was surprised. We were all surprised.
One wonders if we aren't witnessing a kind of a crap game going on, where everybody's kind of throwing their dice on the table to see who's going to do what, and all of a sudden one of these days somebody's going to come along and say, oh, look at, I'm the winner, I got it all. You know.
Well, I think there'd be hard feelings if some certain types of people, for example, foreigners came in and bought it out from under our noses, or if it appeared that local wealthy people came in and got a good buy that got away from the taxpayers.
The thing that bothers me most about it is the fact that no matter how you cut it, there is public money that's been involved there. Whether it's lost or not, I guess is a moot point. It's water over the dam, but the fact is it is there, and it seems like there has to be a continuing moral obligation to the public that whatever's done with it, there's got to be a public use.
I agree. That's the center of Appleton. As far as the taxpayers' money is concerned, it's a TIF district. We borrowed money on a bond issue. So technically, the taxes from those properties in the TIF pay for that. So technically, the taxpayers haven't yet paid the bill. But if the value of the TIF went down and the taxes didn't come in, there could be a problem in the future.
It seems to me that if I were an investor coming from outside and I bought this mall, I'd want to be very diplomatic in how I was handling the situation. You know, that is, how I was putting a program together, how I presented it to the public, you know, rather than come in and say, oh, look at what a deal we got in Appleton, Wisconsin. Boy, we're going to clean up on this. I'd suggest they don't walk down the street.
We've done everything wrong so far. They closed off the street, which antagonized people. Then they developed a marketing plan that said it was going to be for the rich folk. And most people, at least in my ward, they resent that. They feel, who are those rich folk? They're not us.
You know, I have a demographic fact of life to disclose about Appleton, and there are going to be people who aren't going to like this, but I think you'll recognize it, Marcia. A lot of the so-called millionaires in Appleton fall into a certain category. They are what is known as the $100 millionaire. And given 2 or 3 weeks, one way or another, upon loss of job, they're going to be down at the food pantry.
Oh, you mean they're close to the edge, huh?
Sure, but they sure can put on an air that, boy, we've really got it and stuff like that. That's a different subject. Maybe we can set aside a date when we can just talk about that. But this goes along with what you're saying. You know, the rich folk syndrome. Yeah, there's a lot of people in town got good jobs. But,
it's a very stable area.
It's
a good marketing area.
And as long as those mills keep turning out paper, these folk can act like they're millionaires. Close the mill down, it's going to be, like I say, close the mill down in about 3 weeks, it's a different story. Well, we didn't want to talk about the demographics of Appleton. We were going to talk about the mall, and you had some ideas about the mall.
Sure.
And you still have some ideas about the mall. So why don't you just tell everybody out there what you're thinking?
Okay. I'd like to see it stay as a shopping area, but I'm not sure that we can absorb that much retail. I think it would be a good mix to have some offices in there. I don't think it should be all office. It's designed more for retail. It's a beautiful building. Nobody denies that. I think the taxpayers would say what we did we should have done 5 years earlier, and we shouldn't have fought the public over in Grand Chute there from developing their own mall out there.
You got to remember it was close to election time at the time a lot of that started too. We won't say any more about that, but just note that as a historical fact.
So I think it would be a good retail area. There are people out there that would shop the downtown. The traffic is less, especially at the holiday season. And there are about 5,000 people, maybe more, that work in the downtown area. And for years people have said what we need down there are plain, simple shops, like we need a dime store. We don't have that. We could use a good hardware store down there, and some places to eat that aren't really too expensive. And I think there's a place for retail there. I think there might be a place for that children's museum that's being talked about, or for some other more civic kinds of ventures in there.
You know, one of the things that we'll have to learn, which will have to be successfully presented by whoever buys that particular property or any downtown mall area. And Marcia, I'm sure you're aware of this psychology, and that is that for some reason when it comes to shopping in a downtown area, people almost always insist that they park, you know, exactly where they're going, that they don't want to walk it when they go out to a, you know, open mall, such as Fox River Mall. You can end up walking a half mile.
Oh, it's exhausting.
Yeah, and people don't equate the two. And generally, in the downtown area, you don't have to walk as far, ever. Someone's going to have to learn how to market that technique. You know, that I can just see a person, you know, it's the middle of February like we have sometimes, this blowing weather. You know, people are walking through the mall parking lot, everything is blowing around and stuff like that. And downtown, you can park in a parking ramp and walk into a building and stay out of it. But it doesn't connect for some reason.
I don't think that the parking location was ever a big factor. This is my impression. But I do hear from people that they resented those quarter tickets.
Sure.
And when you forget to pay your meter, or when your meter expires, that means you have to run back to your car, or you get one of those quarter tickets that the city doesn't even enforce, and you have to find the quarter and find the little red box to put it in there, and it just irks people.
Well, I think the ladies in the meter department in Appleton are ready to retire.
I agree. That was one of my suggestions that wasn't picked up by the parking authority. I think we're paying about $650,000 to pay the parking people and to keep up the ramps. And out in the Outbacks in the other malls, they're providing parking too, and we're paying for it through the price of the goods.
Right.
And a parking stall might run about $1,000 a stall. So eventually that gets paid off, but we do pay for that through our goods. I thought that the tickets was a problem, not the location. As far as the indoor shopping, what people do around here is unlike the rest of the country. In the rest of the country, people aren't shopping anymore. They're doing mail order, and they're buying plain, simple clothes. That's one of the reasons why the Gap is successful.
Sure.
In this area, people are still shopping for entertainment. You go out to the other malls, and you can see that the men are sitting in the hallway eating, and the women are shopping to their heart's content. They've got some comfortable benches there, and people are just watching the crowd go by.
Sure.
That's entertainment around here.
It's kind of, yeah, and really, and it has been for a long time.
It's like watching bread rise in the oven before TVs came along, or, you know, the cat watching the fish in the fishbowl.
Yeah. If you had your druthers, and somebody came to you and said, Marcia, here it is, the mall is yours now, we want you to do something with it. Ideally, what would you do?
Well, I don't have any money, but the first thing I would do if say I could persuade the city to buy it, and I also think this might be a strong possibility for anybody else who might buy it, would be to record an articles of condominium with the county, which legally describes the units so that they could be sold. Otherwise, you have such a big lump sum that whoever takes that on is going to have the capital to finish the whole thing, and that would rule out a lot of people.
And that was one of the last, well, I rather, was one of the problems that the last management company had.
Well, I worry now that the people that come in there might have less capital than the ones before because it's a more cut-rate price.
I've heard some of the rumors, and I would just like to emphasize to everyone that these are rumors, and you're hearing a lot of them on the street. Marcia, you probably have heard some of them too. That we've heard such things as people are scraping their money together, if that's what you can describe people who buy malls doing, scraping their money together. With the idea of coming to the city and saying, well, now we would like to have you cut the taxes, which I say would be an absolute no-no.
That's how we're going to pay for the TIF district.
That's right.
We can't do that.
Yeah, the taxes absolutely can't be cut. And, or they want to come to the city for a loan, or this or that. And actually, if there is a third party now that enters in here, it's my opinion, if you want to disagree with me or not, Marcia, that's okay. But it's my opinion, I don't think that the city should get involved at all with another party in there.
I think there needs to be some kind of coordination, and I think we need to have a right of refusal to keep out undesirable parties. We want to make sure that the next people come in there know the business, can put together a suitable marketing plan and have enough money to do the job, or can turn the units around, sell them to some folks that would be acceptable. I think we need some kind of a coordinating effort, because what's been happening for the last 2 years, I would say, is we're sitting around and waiting for someone to come in there and solve the problem. If the city had made the bid and won it publicly, now there's going to be a lot of backroom, private, dirty trading going on, is what I suspect, and bidding against each other. If the city had bought that at the auction, then we would set a direction, and we'd be going somewhere. It could be listed with realtors, individual units could be listed, and immediately every realtor in town who had a listing could start selling it, and we could probably recruit some realtors in Milwaukee, Chicago, Minneapolis, and if they sell one unit, then you give them another listing. So immediately there would be some direction and somebody would be working on it. Right now we're waiting. We could wait 6 months. We could wait and maybe no buyer would show up. And it could go into another auction.
Tell us, Marcia, what your philosophy is, your thoughts about what the overall future of downtown is. Now, obviously, you must have some.
It's been really discouraging to see the vacancies, the vacant buildings that have lasted for 10 years. There have been a couple buildings that I have tried to buy on money-down deals, and the buildings are still vacant. Obviously, the people that are in there are not doing what normally happens in business. Say your rent is $100. If you can't rent something at $100, normally you would reduce it to $95. If you can't rent it at $95, you rent it at $90, but you go down until you hit where the market supports. But obviously, the people that have the vacant buildings downtown have enough money so that they don't have to do that. So the taxpayers have sat with a deteriorating downtown and a lot of negativism, and I think the city has let let this happen, and the aldermen haven't done anything. And one of the things that I'm not sure if this is legal or not, but perhaps we could create some sort of a parking district, okay, get rid of all those meters, find some place to put free parking. The parking district would collect money from all of the owners of the buildings. Now, if it would be a hardship on the shopkeeper that's renting from the owner of the building, then we could kick back some sort of a hardship rebate. Now, what would that mean? It would mean that the vacant buildings had their taxes raised, and maybe it would be less economic for them to keep the building vacant, or at least if they chose to do that, the city would be getting more money out of it.
Right. Okay, we're talking with Alderman Marcia Brewer. We're talking about the Avenue Mall, and I'm Bill Day. We'll be back with more discussion right after this.
This is the Valley's TV magazine, the Foxtowner.
Back to the Foxtowner. I'm Bill Day. Marcia Brewer is our guest, and we've been talking about the Avenue Mall. We've got a couple of minutes left, Marcia. Let's quickly run over some possibilities that have been suggested for the mall, and that has included such things as a possible incubator for new entrepreneurial type business, and even an office park.
That's your suggestion about the business incubator, isn't it?
Well, a business incubator is one. How do you react to that?
I think that's an excellent idea.
Okay.
And that particular building, I think, would be a good use. We just created a green space and antagonized several business owners. Perhaps if we had given them a high-class, nice relocation location, they wouldn't have been so upset.
Sometimes we don't have the privilege of sharing and thinking like that, though.
I think the business incubator and the loan fund is a good idea, too. The rumor was that you couldn't get a loan for any business on College Avenue from any bank in Appleton.
Well, it's still the rumor.
I don't know if it's true or not. The bankers deny it. The realtors say otherwise.
I don't know either, and if a banker wants to come on the program sometime and talk to us as to how you can get a loan for retail business in downtown Appleton, we'll be very happy to let them sit here for half an hour and tell us about it. So, yeah, we're very democratic about these sort of things here.
I think keeping some of that space and putting it in the hands of the Appleton Redevelopment Authority wouldn't be a bad idea either, and keeping those as cash cow rentals. That way they would know how much income was coming in on a steady basis after the thing is paid off, of course, their units. And then that would be their budget for any future projects, so they wouldn't have to come back to the city on an ad hoc basis to ask for money.
What was your thought, or what concept do you have as far as a business park is concerned? That's a pretty generic word. Did you have something where you had focused in on?
No, and I had not thought of this before, but there was something mentioned, a quotation in a newspaper a few weeks ago about how we should, and this was a local realtor, and how we shouldn't be giving our industrial parks over to offices, because that's the kind of thing we want in the downtown. And I started thinking about that. Yes, we probably should have an office park developed by the city where we're going to do the exact same thing that we do with the industrial park, but we do it in the downtown area for offices.
So that's an interesting thought. Marcia, I want to thank you for joining us on the program here today.
Thank you for having me.
It's been real interesting, beginning with our water test and learning for the first time that what looks like crystal pure water can be yellow.
I'm partial to orange-flavored and lime-flavored water myself.
So all you'd have to do is just add a little flavor in there.
Yeah, that would work.
Next time we have something controversial and exciting at City Hall, we'd like to have you come back and talk with us again in the future.
All right, I will. Thank you.
Well, so much for downtown. Now that we've solved that problem, we're going to help solve a problem for you in our next program. I'll just give you a little bit of a highlight. The Wisconsin Lottery. The biggest sucker deal that the state of Wisconsin ever grabbed you by the hair by. And we're going to show you on our next program certain lottery tickets that you should by all means avoid, because the state has definitely set it up so that they will just take your money and your hopes will go down the drain. Oh, the state of Wisconsin would do that? Yeah, you bet they would, and they're doing it. And we'll tell you about that next time. I'm Bill Day. Thanks a lot. We'll see you again on another Foxtowner.
Valley TV magazine, The Foxtowner, is seen twice monthly. Check your Cablevision TV program guide for the next Foxtowner date. If you have a subject idea, you think you should appear on The Foxtowner, or want to express an opinion, call The Foxtowner at 731-9790 any day after 11:30 a.m. Your calls are welcome. This is your announcer, Jim Shador, inviting you to join us again. Foxtowner is a Libra Day presentation. Here's the Foxtowner, the only television magazine in the Valley by and about Valley folks.
And welcome to the Foxtowner. I'm your host, Bill Day. With me tonight is the indomitable Ranger Tom. Took one of our trips up north again, and that's why you are here to give us your expert commentary and things of that nature.
All right.
Tom, I've got the most interesting information on tonight's program. And when you think of summertime in the Fox Valley and in Outagamie County, you think of things like the Flag Day Parade and the Memorial Day Parade. But what else do we think about hereabouts?
Well, we're getting outdoors.
Well, getting outdoors and getting out into the other parts of the county, we think of what?
Well, munchies.
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 And we think of Seymour and their claim that they are the home of the hamburger.
Oh, it's been long stated.
You know, I don't know if they're really serious about that in Seymour. Like any town, like any town that wants to latch onto something, you know, and make a big deal out of it, and everybody has a lot of fun in the celebration. But do you think in Seymour they really believe that they are the hamburger capital of the world, or the home of hamburger?
Well, last year I think there was a tumult created when a New York group said that was theirs.
Yeah, well, we know that the New York group was just completely out.
Yeah.
They didn't know what they were even talking about. Well, I'll tell you, I did a little research. I mean, things like this stimulate me, and part of what I do for a living happens to be doing a lot of research into things of this nature. And I thought, I'm really going to find out if we can discover where the hamburger actually came from. I don't think anybody can really put their finger on something like this and say, look, this was where the very first hamburger came from. But I think it's possible to say this is where the hamburger evolved from, and then it spread from that particular point, you know.
Well, there's combinations.
Well, like
similar.
Yeah, like the Coney Island, for example. Now, it got the name because of the fact that it was associated with Coney Island, but really it's a hot dog, and hot dogs have been floating around for quite a long time.
Oh, yeah.
But now we think of hot dogs as Coney Island. Now, of course, it's associated with baseball and all those other things. But I think that we have historically, as a result of almost a year's research since Seymour, you know, first made this big claim, been able to determine where the hamburger really got not necessarily its initial start, but what gave it the big push. And sorry, Seymour, it wasn't you. It happened before there was a Seymour.
Well, that's quite a while ago.
Oh, yeah, it is quite a while ago.
Because Seymour's been around a while.
But if Seymour feels sad about it, the state of Wisconsin can feel good, because it happened in Wisconsin.
Oh, so we haven't lost out.
It did happen in Wisconsin, and it happened among or from Wisconsin's Native Americans.
Well, that sounds interesting.
That's where the hamburger came from. You want to hear more about it?
Well, I think we should.
Not supposed to drink on the set, but when you're the star, you can get away with that kind of stuff. Okay. What we have to do is we have to go back in history, and we've got to get out of town for this, and maybe after we're through, there'll be enough people from Seymour down here forcing us to get out of town. But the hamburger today is kind of a fast food, but when it evolved in the form that we know it today, it was a convenience food.
Oh, yeah. Every bar had it, and every restaurant.
Oh, it goes back before that.
Sure.
You know, you have to remember, the Native Americans had very precious little means of preserving food for any length of time.
Oh, absolutely.
The hamburger was a means of preserving food so that it would last and you could carry it along.
Mm-hmm.
And who else needed food because it couldn't be refrigerated and had to have it in some safe form? The lumberjacks up in northern Wisconsin during the lumbering era,
Oh, sure.
and the early miners. And, well, I'm getting a little bit ahead of the story. First of all, in all of the research that I did over the past year, the hamburger as we know it in Wisconsin, and probably the rest of the country, seems to have been focalized, would that be right? Zeroed in on. If you study the claims of the New York community, if you study the Seymour community, and any place else, you come up with one town in Wisconsin.
Oh, is that right?
One town is where it really got its start, and when we get through with this, you'll understand why. They're in the far northern part of the state, and Derek, let's put the clips on the screen now. Okay, now this is a part of Iron County. You'll see a little number there that has 11 on it.
Oh, yeah.
Notice that, Tom? All right, that number 11 is the approximate location of where Hoyt, Wisconsin was. Now that blue is the Guile flowage, and when you drive up to Hurley, Ashland, it's usually to your left on US 2.
Oh.
Now this is what Hoyt, Wisconsin looked like.
Oh, boy.
We had to do some digging to pull this out of the archives, but we found it. As far as we know, this is the only picture of Hoyt that ever existed.
Or at least lasted.
Yes, 1882 is the date of this photograph, so far as we're able to determine.
Well, it looked like a regular frontier type town.
Oh, well, it was. It absolutely was a frontier town. That's what a lot of people don't realize, that you had the frontier here in Wisconsin. All right, this is a picture that we found in the Hoyt archive. That's the Hoyt Trading Center, was the first building built in town, and the Indians, of course, were regular customers, and that's a black bear in front. They used to bring the black bear pelts to the Hoyt Center, and then...
and the bear meat, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then they would get the things they... Now, here's a very interesting picture because this ties in with the Fox Cities. Hoyt was connected by the Wisconsin Central Railroad to Menasha. And this picture was taken, I don't know what year, when the railroad was completed to Hoyt from Menasha, and of course they tried to simulate the gold spike ceremony.
Oh, yeah, everybody turned out, yeah.
This is a blacksmith shop, was very important in any frontier town, even in Wisconsin.
Wagons or whatever.
Wagons, you made your tools there, naturally you shod your horses, fixed guns. They even acted as veterinarians once in a while
when there's a lack of...
Yeah. Now this was a busy shop, if you notice. They got 4 guys in there.
Yeah.
So that shows that the Hoyt shop was really... Now, right, the question, hamburgers. You see that Indian gentleman there?
Oh, yes.
Well, what he's doing there, Tom, is making what we today would recognize as the hamburger.
Oh.
And that picture was taken near Hoyt, and that was probably, 1882, probably even a little earlier than that, considering how that is the dress that the Indian was wearing, because once many of the Indian tribes became involved with the whites, they generally started dressing pretty much like the whites. So that picture is very, very old. But let me tell you what the procedure was. Indians, of course, didn't have the grinders.
No.
But they did have knives, and they chopped stuff up, and they would include things like fish in their hamburgers.
Well, and they had rocks and they,
Yeah, and they'd grind it up. Then they would boil it like in a patty. So in effect, what they were making was a meatball. And then and then they'd boil it. Then when they were through with it, they would bang it down flat, and you had the hamburger. They would put it in some sort of a knapsack to keep it preserved, and they.
Well, they had a food pouch they carried.
Yeah, you could actually keep a hamburger all winter long that way.
Sure.
And of course, when the loggers and the trappers, actually the trappers picked up on it first, and then when the loggers and early miners came in on the scene, which is what Hoyt was all about, the reason the town was built, they picked up on this very quickly. And the so-called hamburger was very popular at first with the trappers and the loggers because it was meat, and you're doing that kind of work, you needed meat.
Yeah.
It was meat they could carry in the woods. They didn't have to heat it. They could eat it at that time between ordinary pieces of bread. And now here's where the interesting evolution of the hamburger comes in. You got to remember now the ethnic mix of the loggers and the early miners. They were Swedes, they were French Canadians, they were Norwegians, they were, well, you name it, Joe, but those were predominantly who you found working in the woods in those days, and a lot of Scotsmen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Scotsmen.
Sure.
And when you got ethnic groups together like this, what they tended to do was trade words back and forth. And some of these words later on became part of the American language, like hamburger. You know, hamburger had nothing to do with Hamburg, Germany.
No.
They didn't know about hamburgers in Hamburg, Germany. But when we were doing our research, here's some of the things we found out. For example, the old Swedish lumberjacks would refer to the hamburger, and by this time, of course, the lumberjack cookies were grinding the meat and they were making it into the same kind of patties as they had learned how to make them from the Indians. And the old Swedes were calling them pan biffs.
Pan biff.
Can you imagine that? Stop in at McDonald's and have yourself a pan biff Whopper.
That wouldn't look good on the McDonald marquee, I don't think.
No. And then the Scotsmen came in there and they were calling them homebirds. Now that's beginning to sound like hamburger a little bit, isn't it?
It's getting a little touch to it.
What it kind of meant was the type of, now this goes back to an older Scottish dialect, and which is, you know, when you start researching stuff, this is where you start running into the fascination of things. It's an older Scottish dialect which is related to the Celtic, or as some people say, Celtic language. And these Scotsmen would call them the Hamebirds. And then a colloquialism developed. And of course we've researched this by getting this out of old newspapers. As the word evolved, it became known as the Biff Birder.
The Biff Burger.
The Biff Birder.
There you go. Now
and I'm sure that somewhere after that, the word hamburger came. Now, all of this happened before it got to Seymour.
Yeah, because, well, Seymour was a dot on the map.
I don't think it was there.
It wasn't sufficient.
Now, I've never heard anyone in Seymour ask for a Biff Birder.
No. But, you know, that's the Belgians and the Irish and a little different group that, but a lot of them went up to the lumberjack area.
Well, a lot of the people who had been working in the camps came down into this area because it was a natural evolution that if you left the woods, chances are you got a job on a farm, and it kind of followed that. So naturally, they're taking, as they're coming down out of the woods and taking jobs in towns, they're taking along their pan biffs, their hamebirds, and their biff birders, and somewhere along the line, all of that ends up as the word hamburger. And
well, that's an interesting.
So I think the big issue is who actually started calling it a hamburger. But from what we've been able to find out, it was that stout fellow, the American native, that taught his white cousins how to make the hamburger. Incidentally, we've shown you what Hoyt, Wisconsin looked like in 1882. Would you like to see Hoyt today?
Well, I would say not too many of us have been there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, an exclusive on the Foxtowner, Hoyt, Wisconsin, 1991. Roll tape. Well, Tom, how's this for beautiful downtown Hoyt today?
Well, they kept the avenue well treed.
This is all that's left. Hoyt was pretty well done as a community, I'd say about the time of World War I. And nature in the northern part of the state takes over very quickly. And unless you know where you are actually going, you will not find Hoyt. And when you get there, you're not going to find it because this is all there is. That, as Porky Pig used to say, that's all there is, folks. And just a trail. The woods have claimed it back. But
lumberjacking is coming back.
Well, I'll tell you, we did find some areas where we could dig around and excavate yet using a metal detector. And as soon as we round this curve here, I'm going to show you one little thing that we did manage to find, which we might have a chance of going back and looking for more. I'm not going to say where exactly I found it, but we were digging around and trying to see if we could get some more exact locations of Hoyt. You know, in fact, we were playing archaeologists, you know. Under a clump of grass, old debris and what appeared to be a building, I found this. And what this is
very good shape.
Very good shape. Oh, anybody's a coin collector just died.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is a old. I don't know how close you can get this on there. Can we pan it in? I don't know. We may go out of focus before. Let's see. Yeah, there. Anyway, that's what it is.
Big Eagle?
Yeah. I'll admit we cleaned this up for the show.
Yeah.
And
cleaned up nice.
So it's there, and it was there.
It was there.
And that was
the
Hoyt.
name is still up on the map.
Right. Well, when we come back, I'm going to show you how not to get a screwing.
The Foxtowner. Stay tuned.
We're out here fixing up our highways and make them smoother, better, and safer for you. But some drivers are nuts. They don't slow down, don't merge, don't drive courteously or safely. And some drivers are even worse. Give us a break, please. We can brake. So can you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Foxtowner. I'm your host, Bill Day, and joining me for this edition of the program has been our... what are you anyway? Ranger Tom. I see that you brought one of the plants that you picked up north last week.
Well, that's part of Hoyt's, downtown.
Yeah, this is the Phosodium filiatus, isn't that right?
Yes, with the deep veins,
yeah.
You see. And then you'll notice the sharp striation marks.
Now, actually, this particular plant will grow to, what, 40, 50 feet tall if it's ever planted out in the open, isn't that right?
Well, they're mostly a shady type,
yeah,
and stay small.
But it also makes a good potting plant.
Oh, absolutely.
Would you have any advice to people who'd like to get one of these?
Well, you don't want to rip up the countryside, that's for sure. See, that's could present you with a fine. This was given to us, to the family, by some people who live up in the area.
It's been in the family a long time.
Well, not a long time, but it is from that area, and I pick plants from each area that I go to.
I know that you feel very close to your plants from time to time, Ranger Tom. Has this plant got a particular name?
Well, it's generally known as a honeycomb gingeritis.
I thought it was a Philium folifatus.
That's the subspecies.
Oh, okay.
There's always, plants continue to evolve too, as well as hamburgers. And this has developed a number of strains as it intermingles with other plants.
Yes.
And people have learned how to trigger changes. It's been interesting to see.
Well, Tom, I want to thank you for bringing one of your beloved plants on the program here for today's program, and maybe we'll have an opportunity to see some more of your plants from time to time.
Love to show it.
Well, I told everybody before we came into this segment that I was going to give you some advice on how to avoid getting screwed. And you're probably saying, oh, what's he saying on the television? Hey, let's face reality as it is. I'm talking about these little suckers. Can I get a close-up of this, just in case there's someone who hasn't seen one? Particularly these. Focus that in just a little bit better there. You will notice that this is one of the Wisconsin lotteries tickets. This is another one of them. And look at them together. Look at them very, very closely. There. All right. These particular tickets have been designed by the lottery people to be the worst paying off tickets of all that you will find. Do not, I repeat, do not buy either one of these tickets because you will get screwed. They're designed not to pay off. We understand that there are some entire rolls that don't have a single winning ticket in them. So you want to stay away from these. You want to stay away from the lottery in general. But
this is the courtesy of the state.
But this is from Wisconsin. Can we get this off camera now so they don't get a picture of my molars? Okay. It's a public service of the Foxtowner program. You know, actually, it was kind of interesting, Tom. We were reading in the papers just last week where the lottery is actually beginning to fall into disfavor with a lot of people. It is not attracting the fans anymore that the tapioca brains down in Madison who put this together thought that it would.
Oh, well, sure. When one wins, a lot of them lose.
Yeah. You'll get, you know, $1 winners, $5 winners. For example, the tickets that I showed you is designed to have one payoff perhaps for every 19 to 20,000 tickets sold.
Oh,
now,
wow.
I will say this. If somebody wants to walk into this studio and put $20,000 on this table here, I will guarantee you a payoff. You are going to win.
500.
You'll win 500. I'll do better than the state of Wisconsin. You know.
I'll top it, right.
And now, of course...
if you do that for securities, you're in jail.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But the state of Wisconsin doesn't go to jail for screwing the people, which is what the lottery is really turning down. And I'm just calling the shot and the definition the way it is, because I would like to think that we have a viewership that is intelligent and is not going to be allowed to be taken in by people who work for the state of Wisconsin who are less intelligent than you are and are trying to sell you phony lottery tickets. But does that kind of say it?
Oh, well, I think that says it very well.
Yes. Well, okay. We'll be back with more of the Foxtowner. I'm Bill Day. Back once again with the Foxtowner, and Ranger Tom is with me. And Tom, Appleton, the Fox Cities, is very proud of its historical sites.
Yes, it is.
And you and I, for example, have been known to spend time in one of the great historical sites in the city of Appleton. It's so designated on the, what is it, the National Register or something like that. And I sit in awe, completely humbled, when I think of the magnanimity of the historical events that occurred in that building as you and I sit there. Do you notice sometimes I actually just kind of climb up and realize how little I mean in this world because of the great significance of that historical site?
No, I didn't notice that.
Should I tell the people where it is?
Well, you could.
The building, which houses the Burger King on College Avenue, is on the National Register of Historical Sites. And I do sit in complete awe when I am in there. And I say to myself, oh, what even happened in here? I really think that this business of naming buildings historical sites for tax purposes, my judgment, my own statement, is pretty much of a racket. However, there are legitimate historical sites in this community which have gone unrecognized. And now, all the kidding aside, and I'm going to show you one of those historical sites right now. And to get there, we had to go by way of the Midtown ramp in Appleton. And so we could get a rooftop view of this site. And I think it's coming up on the screen right about now. I know that that's the Midtown ramp that's on the scene. There we go. Now, that's not the historical site. I think we were having a little problem with the camera. Now, you will soon see what appears to be an antenna. There it is. See that? Look at that antenna very closely. When you drive down College Avenue heading west, you see that on top of, well, the building that's right on the corner of Appleton and
oh, the old Spectre building.
It used to be Spectre Jewelers and then Otterly Jewelers, I guess. And
now it's a hair.
Now it is a hair styling. See, I'm giving you a couple of views of it. Now this is from the perspective of the ramp.
Oh.
Now I'll tell you why this is a very historical. Now there it is again. That's as you would see it from College Avenue. Ladies and gentlemen, that is history, and there's no kidding about it. Just look at that. That is historical. That is definitely a part of Appleton history. Now the dramatic fade back. There we go. All right, I think everybody's got the picture. We don't need any more than that. Why is that a historical site, Tom?
Well, I understand there was a radio station in there for a while.
It's very rude of me to be drinking water in front of everybody like this. Sorry about that. That antenna was erected in 1961.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first antenna to be used as a base station for a local radio station news department for the first news trucks that ever were used in the valley to go out and report from on the scene.
Oh.
And that was the very first one. And it's surprising that it still stands there. Now, that is a historic, historically significant factor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that old antenna ought to be put on the National Register, because before that antenna was put up, on the scene reporting on local radio never occurred.
You have to go into the studio.
Yeah, some guy just sat there and read.
But
this was the first time you ran out on the scene and said, hey, this is so-and-so reporting from on the scene of this fire or this accident and stuff. And those signals went through that antenna first.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the old WAPL AM station. And it had perhaps the finest radio news department which ever existed in Fox Valley electronic journalism.
Mm-hmm.
There has not been a news department since that has been as good.
Mm-hmm.
And as the result of the antenna, because it was part of a system, the station won several prestigious broadcast awards because of the technique and method that was used. So that antenna is definitely a historical fixture in the city of Appleton, and I thought that you ought to know about that.
Well, it's most interesting, and
Yes.
a lot of people certainly don't. They see it without recognizing it.
Yeah, and one reason I know all this is because I was one of the guys that put that antenna on the roof those many years ago.
Yeah.
And the other guy involved was a fellow by the name of Bobby Faulkner, who I think some of you people out there know. And it just goes to show what a damn good job we did putting that antenna on that roof. It stood up there
Still
for
there.
everything. It's been there all these years. So, well, at least must have done something right.
Yeah.
So, well, we're going to be back in just a moment. But first of all, what I wanted to tell you.
While our host is busy extricating himself from his microphone cord, he asked me to step forward and thank you for listening. And until the next time, we'll see you again.
The Valley TV magazine, The Foxtowner, is seen twice monthly. Check your Cablevision TV program guide for the next Foxtowner date. If you have a subject idea, you think you should appear on The Foxtowner, or want to express an opinion, call The Foxtowner at 731-9790 any day after 11:30 a.m. Your calls are welcome. This is your announcer, Jim Shador, inviting you to join us again. Foxtowner is a Libra Day presentation. Here's the Foxtowner, the only television magazine in the Valley by and about Valley folks.
I'm Bill Day, I'm your host. This is the Foxtowner, and with me once again is our sidekick, Ranger Tom. Welcome, Ranger.
Glad to be back.
We're going to do a little bit of outdoors type of activity again here today. You don't have your Ranger outfit on tonight. That looks,
No, I got caught off guard here.
yeah, that looks like the outfit that you wear when you do your daily research and development down at the lab.
That's right.
Yeah.
I do come in town.
Yeah, well, good. Someday we'll talk about that. We've got some unfinished business from last week's program that we've got to take care of. And incidentally, before we get started here and get too far into today's program, I have a warning, and I'm serious about this. I'm not kidding at all. if there are any of you people out there who are the least inclined toward a heart attack or a stroke, turn the set off right now. We don't want you to watch because we are going to bring you into a part of Appleton today that will absolutely shock you. Now, one of the things that we do on the Foxtowner is we bring you things about Appleton and the Fox cities that you never see in the newspapers. You've never seen it on any of the television stations at night, but you will see it here in the Foxtowner. Tonight, we have a real shocker for you. And as I said, if you are inclined at all toward a heart attack or something like that, don't watch the program or take your glycerin pills right now. That'll be coming along a little later on. Well, last week we talked a little bit about the Wisconsin lottery, and I have a letter here from a listener who says, "Dear Bill," and I'm surprised that it would begin that way, Tom.
Yes, I feared.
"The lottery tickets that you showed on the program today," meaning last week, "aren't sold anymore. What are you talking about?" Well, I did that purposely. I got a bunch of old lottery tickets that I knew were not sold anymore. And the reason I used them was simple, to find out whether or not anybody was watching or paying attention. And apparently someone was. Just in case you didn't watch last week's program, I pointed out that all of you people out there who are buying Wisconsin lottery tickets are suckers. You know that. And that shouldn't offend you, not at all. Because the ratio of payoff is so slim that you can hardly even attach a number to it, at least an understandable number. And they have people sitting in Madison who actually figure out ways for the tickets not to pay off. Now, we told you to stay away from the Moolah series because they are designed to take money from you and not pay money. Now, this is deliberately done. We've got scuds who live in Madison and work in Madison who actually sit there at their desk wearing a tie like Tom, and they figure, if we do it this way and this way, we won't have any payoffs. Moolah is one of them. It is designed not to pay off. Oh, you know, some of you are going to win a 1, you're going to get a 5, you're going to run around and tell everybody, say, "Hey, Tom, I won $1, you know."
Yeah.
They gave you your $1 back. You know, big deal. But these tickets will not pay off. The next one so you definitely do not want to buy this ticket. Now, the next one you don't want to buy, and maybe we can move the camera up to that, is the Grand Slam. And this one has probably the poorest record of paying off and is designed not to pay off. Because, you see, the scuds in Madison know that people will be inclined to buy more lottery tickets in the summer because the tourists come up here, and here we make suckers out of the tourists. First, we invite them up, and then we take their money away. And Grand Slam is definitely designed not to pay off. So, Wisconsinites, stay away from Grand Slam. Don't buy it. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to tell you about a real scam that's come through on the lotteries. And of course, the lottery is designed to, lower our property taxes.
Oh, yeah.
Shall we now break up and laugh?
That's why it's falling so rapidly.
It's monkey see, monkey do. Take a look at this, Tom. And maybe I could hold this up to the camera here a little bit. Get a little closer there. Yeah, that's... Could we get just a little close-up so the folks know what we're talking about here? Because I'll have to read this. There. This is supposedly a circular which is sent through the mail to advertise the Australian lottery.
Well, of course.
Yeah, okay. I'll take it back now. There we go.
And that will lower the taxes there.
Oh, yeah, it sure will. Anyway, this is the Australian lottery. And what it says here is that the Big Win Australian Lotto pays out more than $8 million each week in tax-free lump sum payments. Hundreds and thousands of Americans have already won. What this circular tells you is that if you buy the Australian ticket, lottery ticket, you don't have to pay any tax on it. Aha. Wait till the IRS finds out.
Yeah.
Which they will. And the state of Wisconsin Department of Revenue, they'll find out. But people are buying these things thinking, oh, my God, we don't have to pay taxes. Well, first of all, you got to win, and you ain't going to win. Now, fellas, can we just do a little fancy camera work up on the board there and zero in on that Australian lottery ticket? It's called, what is it, Lucky 211 or 711. Okay, now notice this. Now, you see, when you get now, these came through the mail, okay? One of these was brought to my attention from a viewer in Appleton who saw last week's program. The second one came from a viewer in the town of Menasha. So I'm showing you two tickets each ticket was mailed to a different person. Now, what you do is you scratch off where you see the dice, the markings in the dice, that's scratched off, and if you get the right combination of dice, you win. Naturally, you don't. Now, both tickets are identical. Both have a deuce, and both have a 5. Now, fellows, have we got some focal length left on that lens there? Can we get down into the right-hand corner a little bit on there? Maybe we can just dolly the camera up, as we used to say in television. And first, get the ticket, which is in the upper left-hand corner, and zero in on what is the verifying number. In other words, this is the number to prove that it's your ticket. Now, bear in mind, keep in mind, these tickets were sent to 2 different parties. It was 2 different parties who brought them to my attention. Okay, now, that's the one in the upper left-hand corner. That was from the Appleton party. Now, let's go to the lower right-hand corner, to the ticket that was sent to the town of Menasha party. Have we got that one up on the screen? Now, have you been noticing the numbers in both corners? They are identical verification numbers. You would think that they would have enough brains to put a different number, because supposedly, under the rules of a lottery ticket, each ticket has a separate number.
Yes.
And so that tells you right then and there that this Australian thing is a scam. The tickets are all the same, and none of them are going to win.
It's costly printing to put a different number on.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So if you get one of those in the mail, forget it. They will send you an application order form like this. It's called the Australian Players Service. Looks something like this here. Okay? Don't have to get too close to it, but that's just in case you get this in the mail. It'll look something like that. All right, and then in case you're really into lotteries, you get this winner's edge hotline. Like if you want to find out if you won, and guess what? When you call the winner's edge hotline to find out if you've won the Australian lottery, it only costs you 95 cents a minute.
Oh, so you lose.
So, as I said, sucker bait, and what we're trying to do is save souls here today.
Or buy stock in the telephone company.
Or buy stock in the telephone company. So much for our lottery lambast of the day, and this is dedicated to the Scuds in Madison. Another letter here, it says, Dear Bill, your piece about the Pinocchio Mountains in northern Wisconsin was fascinating. I didn't know there were any mountains in Wisconsin except Rib Mountain up by Wausau. I see you watch this program, you're going to learn things.
Yeah.
And boy, you're going to learn some things here tonight. How do we get there, and do you plan any further film on the Wisconsin mountains? Well, you drive there, that's how you get there. And we're going to do some more. I can't recommend any places to go because the strange thing about the Pinocchio Mountain Range, to my knowledge, there's only 2 roads in the entire stretch that go up anywhere. And there is really nothing of tourist interest there right now. They're very bad roads. If you've got a small, compact type car, you're going to wreck it trying to drive up there. There's no question about that. And so I wouldn't recommend going there now. That's not to say that something might not occur, sometime in the future, where, either through the DNR or something else, because one of the programs we want to do in the future here is at the new Turtle Flowage.
Oh, yes.
That's
a coming spot again.
Yeah, that was dedicated last fall, and maybe we'll get some more Pinocchio Mountain stuff then at that time. So, well, okay, so much for that. Is anybody in the studio hungry? Yeah, huh? Did you notice I can do? I tell you what,
voices.
When we come back, we are going to turn our attention to ethnic Upernavanian cuisine. And we'll do that in just a moment. And welcome back to the Foxtowner. I'm your host, Bill Day. Ranger Tom is with us. And for this next segment of our show this day, we're going to be talking about ethnic Upernavanian cuisine. Tom, when I say ethnic Upernavanian cuisine, what does that bring to mind?
That sounds like Little Abner to me, but I...
Put your thinking hat on, like teacher used to say, you know.
Yeah, I would really be... It sounds a little unreal.
Oh, this is real.
And
hey, I never come on this program with stuff that isn't true.
Well, it sounds kind of highly spiced, and heavens knows what's all in it.
Yeah.
Could be from the cat on whatever in the yard.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's one way of looking at it. Now, when I'm speaking now, maybe we ought to get a camera down here, and so I can show everybody what I've got here. I have here a dish which falls into the category of an ethnic food. Now, this is an ethnic food that enjoys wide popularity in some parts of the country, in Upernavania, for example, but is probably not as well known in others. Now, this says delicious Italian pizza. Well, the only reason that says delicious Italian pizza is because our good buddy Pete over at Sammy's Pizza on Appleton Street, across from City Hall, where the parking lot is, happened to allow us the use of his oven so we could cook this up, because I wanted this done before we started tonight, and so anyway, let me show you what I've got here. By the way, you guys in the studio here, are you interested in food?
Yeah!
Okay. Here we go. We're just going to open this up here, and let me just, I'll need a close-up first of our dish here before you guys come out of the studio there, okay? And let me just put these papers out here, because this is the bargain bulletin. This is the best and highest use I can think of for the bargain bulletin, to use as a tablecloth.
Napkin.
Okay, all right, guys, gather around.
Looks well-rounded meal.
Oh, yeah. This, do you know what these are?
Yours?
Yeah, have you ever seen these before?
No, it's turtle shells.
This gentleman, I'll hold it up for the camera, is a genuine pasty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pasty.
Like.
See, here's another. Now, these are, now I want to explain something about the pasty. Can we have camera up a little bit closer here, do you think? Oh, now we don't have anybody who can do any switching in the control room. We got everybody here. Derek, you run back and forth and get yourself an appetite up. And let me explain this first. I should have explained it before I told all you guys to come in here. All right, now let me show you this. First of all, when I say the pasty is an ethnic food, it really is. This is a dish that originally came from Cornwall in England. This was a dish that the miners' wives prepared.
That's the Welsh.
No, the Cornish.
Is it? Oh, the Cornish.
The Cornish,
The other side.
Yeah, this is Cornish. Now, not bad coffee for a coffee maker. Something you should know about this. The wives of the miners would cook these up, and they would bring them to the mine at the end of, during the lunch break. And very often, it wasn't unusual for a Cornish wife to have it wrapped up in a newspaper like this, and she'd bring it to her husband, and he would eat it. The pasty is an absolute, complete meal by itself right there. For example, I'll tell you who would really enjoy these would be, if you're a hiker or you're going into the woods for the day, get a couple of these and pack it up, because it's a complete meal.
Well, your boaters too.
Oh, boaters,
all
yeah.
Day.
It has meat, potatoes, onions, some other type of mix of vegetables. It will stay warm for about 8 hours, but you can also eat them cold. And I've noticed that the pasty is starting to break out of Upernavania. Now, let me explain that. This is a dish that you will find mostly when you travel in Upper Michigan, because that was, of course, where the big mining industry was. The early miners were Cornish miners. They brought the dish to the Upper Peninsula, and then when the other ethnic groups moved in, of course, they adapted it. And you can drive anywhere along the south shore of Lake Superior, which is Upper Michigan, northern Wisconsin, and into Minnesota, and this is the food of the day.
I've heard hunters and fishermen tell me about
these. Absolutely. This is one of the greatest things that you could get. You can also find these at Mineral Point, Wisconsin, because the Cornish lead miners, of course, also brought the same dish there. And those are the two areas we can find. Now, when you get a pasty today, you can start getting these at supermarkets. Make sure that it is an Upper Michigan pasty, made in Upper Michigan. Reject all others. I'll tell you why. This is the Upper Michigan pasty. It's made by the Captain Jack people. Notice how firm and how you can handle it?
Sure.
The reason that you should be able to handle it that way is so that when you cut it, you see, you can actually sit and chomp on it like that.
Oh.
That's the reason why. Now this is firm, you see, this is good. This is made in Milwaukee, and look, wouldn't you expect something in Milwaukee to be like that?
Well, it's more like a pot pie.
Yeah, see, and it's a pasty.
Yeah.
It's okay as a pasty, but it's not an Upper Michigan pasty.
Yeah.
And I was going to bring a pasty on the program that was made in Lower Michigan. I could not subject the viewers to something from the Lower Peninsula. I'm sorry. Because anything from the Lower Peninsula is bad, including all the cars they make these days. And you can imagine what they do to the pasties.
Yeah.
So whenever you have an opportunity to get a pasty, insist on a genuine Upper Michigan made pasty. There are several that are there. And they are the best. You ready for lunch, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get us on the big camera, and we're all going to have some
Milwaukee pasties and some Michigan.
You want the Michigan one?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
all the same anyway.
No. The Michigan one and the Wisconsin. Here, I'll cut this up into a couple pieces here, and we can all. Oh, hey, we got any napkins in this place?
Well, I happen to bring my own along. I always travel with a napkin.
Why don't one of you guys run into the break room and bring some napkins back here so that we can sit. Now, these pasties, actually, I think you're going to start seeing them showing up in fast food restaurants because they are so good. And I just hope they make them right when they do. Because, fellas, you want to dig down in my notes there, you'll find a pasty recipe.
Well, you hate to see them kill a good idea.
A pasty is not an easy thing to make. Now, as I showed you before, yeah, good. You got some of this stuff here, great. Oh, that's yours. Okay. Which camera are we on? I don't know if you can show the people how it's put together here. I should have done. You want to. By the way, guys, remember when you get through eating, make sure you wipe your hands off goods because you don't want any grease on the electronic goodies. This one here is kind of coming apart a little bit, but that's okay. You want to bring it in? Good. All right. You can see how it's put together. The potato, the meat. The crust is different. This is not a pot pie crust. This is not a pie crust. It's a special crust that has its own ingredients and stuff. So, well, I'm going to have a bite of this stuff now, if you people don't mind.
Good.
And how do you like them?
Good.
Yeah.
Coming back for seconds?
They're really good.
I'll have to try one.
Yeah, I'm going to break this one up, but that's okay. You can do that. See, there's no formal way to eat a pasty. If you want to, you can make it a sit-down meal.
Or a picnic delight.
Heaven. You can sit down and have a sit-down meal with these. It's perfectly proper to pick it up like this and eat them. It's better to leave it like this because it's easier to eat. Now, if any of you folks would like to have a pasty recipe, and I'm talking about my mother used to always tell me, don't eat with food in your mouth.
Don't talk.
I mean,
don't eat with food in your mouth.
Don't talk, but that's all we got to do is start choking you on the program. This is a pasty recipe. It's a very old one, as you can tell. If any of you people out there would like to have it and make it in your own home, I'll be more than happy to send that to you. Just send me a card at my office address. There's some pasties left here, guys, if you want to finish these up. Don't be bashful.
Milwaukee type. Yeah.
Finish it up. What the heck?
Yeah, Milwaukee's not good.
Yeah.
Something here.
Well, the Milwaukee pasty, I will say this, is definitely superior to a pasty made in Lower Michigan.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, by all means,
tasty.
always avoid a Lower Michigan pasty. Don't ever eat them. But the Upper Michigan pasties first. Milwaukee pasty, okay, if there's nothing else available. If you find there's only a Lower Michigan pasty, don't even buy it. Go without it. Suffer. Wait until you can get the right ones in. You know, because I don't know what happens to people when they move to Lower Michigan, but I feel sorry about that. And well, we got to do a little bit of house cleaning here. Anyway, if you'd like to have a copy of this pasty recipe, it makes 4 pasties, and it's great. But these are great for hunters, you duck hunters, for example, when you're going out this year in the blinds. Those of you folks are going out for an afternoon hunting or anything else, or boating, I mean, and hiking, whatever. These are great. Just slap them in the knapsack and take them along. Now, the pasties you guys are eating are almost cold. And they're good, aren't they? You can eat a pasty cold, or you can eat it hot. You can drink it with milk, you can drink it with coffee. I chose coffee here tonight. They're great with beer. It's just a food that will go with anything. It's like a pizza.
Yeah.
The only problem with the pasty is why it hasn't become a big dish like the pizza is because the pizza started out in Milwaukee and New York. Pasties ended up in the mining country up north, and of course there was no metropolitan area to give it the push. But now the metropolitan areas are beginning to discover it, so you're learning about that here first on the program. Was it great, guys?
Yeah. Hey, where's our seconds?
Okay.
2 thumbs up.
Yeah. Wish we had some seconds here.
How about dessert?
That's all you can buy.
We've got to do a little bit of house cleaning here in the studio, and we'll be right back with the rest of the Foxtowner.
The Foxtowner. Stay tuned.
And welcome back again to the Foxtowner. I'm Bill Day, and as you see, we've cleaned up the kitchen mess here right now. And now, this is that time of the program that I told you about, that if you at all have a weak heart, or you think that you might have a stroke or something like that, either pop the nitroglycerin pills right now, or turn the program off, because the scenes you are about to hear would be normally rated Z. They're
past X.
Oh, they're past X. I mean, if as I said, we show you things in Appleton that are not seen on other television or in the newspapers. We take you where no one else goes. And today, we are going to go beneath the streets of Appleton. We are going to take you right down under your feet, under your street. Ladies and gentlemen, we take you into the very sewers of the city of Appleton. Roll tape. And that's exactly what this is. This is a scene in the hundreds of miles of sewers that are under the city of Appleton.
And we're building them faster, too.
And we're building them faster. Now, if you want to just concentrate very closely, you see stuff floating. I don't know what that stuff is. There is fumes as you go along. I have no idea what these fumes happen to be. And the reason we have these, it's a very practical reason. I think that looks like detergent, don't you think so, Tom?
Yeah, it's from your wash machines and your kitchen sinks.
As you look closely, you'll be able to see where the sewers actually connect in various parts of the city. Right now, we're in one of the new plastic sewer-lined areas. It's not exactly plastic, but it's a plastic derivative that some of the sewers are made out of. And you can tell very quickly when you go from the newer plastic sewer sections into the old concrete. It begins to look like something out of a Frankenstein picture. Did you have a great deal of trouble doing the breaststroke while you were holding the camera on your back as you did these, Tom?
Well, depends on the day.
Actually, seriously, as they used to say on the media, these scenes were shot by a little camera which is mounted in a waterproof housing, which has little wheels, kind of like a little tractor, and it crawls through the sewers. And this is done to inspect the condition of the sewers in Appleton. And when I saw the video truck, which was employed by the Department of Public Works, shooting these sewers, I thought, oh, what a great segment this would make to follow the pasty eating portion of our show. So that's what this is. This is actually under, I don't know what street this was shot on. Now the reason that the camera has stopped here is that the operator has seen something that disturbs him one way or another, and he's checking it. Then it'll be written down on a log, and later on it'll be brought back to the Department of Public Works, and they'll be told, you know, I saw this, maybe this ought to be checked out a little bit further. But in case you've ever wondered what it's like to be crawling around in an Appleton sewer, well, you got the experience here first on the Foxtowner. Why have we stopped here, I wonder?
Is that going into the old, isn't it?
Or is that the cute creature from the Black Lagoon that's coming down the thing here? Oh, now we're moving on.
Have they run into any little alligators crawling around in there? Or?
No, they might in the bigger sewers. We haven't got anything out of the bigger. There are, on Walnut Street, past the courthouse, that sewer is like 100 and some feet down underground, and it's about 30 feet in circumference.
Oh.
I last was in that sewer about 1968, 69.
Oh, wow.
It was quite an interesting thing. Well, those are the thrills and the chills and all the culinary delights and everything else that we have for you on today's program, and I thank you all for inviting us in. And next week, we're going to be back with more fun and games, and Ranger Tom, the good Lord willing, you'll be here.
I expect to be.
Very good. And that's it for today's program, and thank you very much. Have yourself a good week. We'll see you down the line. Oh, I'm Bill Day, by the way. Just thought I'd mention that. You know, I host the program every week.
The Valley TV magazine, The Foxtowner, is seen twice monthly. Check your Cablevision TV program guide for the next Foxtowner date. If you have a subject idea, you think you should appear on The Foxtowner, or want to express an opinion, call The Foxtowner at 731-9790 any day after 11:30 a.m. Your calls are welcome. This is your announcer, Jim Shador, inviting you to join us again. Foxtowner is a Libra Day presentation. Here's the Foxtowner, the only television magazine in the Valley by and about Valley folks.
This is the Foxtowner. I'm Bill Day. Welcome on board for another edition. And with me, of course, is our erstwhile companion of the program, Ranger Tom. Welcome on board, Ranger Tom.
Thank you.
Well, we've been receiving quite a few letters in response to some of our past programs, and I'd just like to touch on them briefly before we move on to our main topic of the day, which was suggested by a listener, by the way. And a lot of interest being shown in the Pinocchio Mountains.
Oh.
People are they're making inquiries. They're saying, where are these mountains in Wisconsin that you continually keep talking about? And it's difficult to tell you where they are because they're hard to get to.
Yeah.
They haven't been made into a tourist trap or anything like that, you know, like Monaco or the Dalles. This is for the people who are willing to get out of their car or truck and do quite a bit of hiking to get where they're supposed to be. But I was talking to a party up north in a somewhat semi-official position just this past week who said that they're giving some very strong thought to making a good public access and lookout in one of the areas of the Pinocchio Mountains. And it's difficult to refer back to one of our earlier programs when we were showing all kinds of tape on it.
Yeah.
And I didn't bring any tape of the mountains today because this is a program we'll do again in the future. But and I'm just responding to some of the requests that we had here. But apparently there was some thought of doing that and making it open to outdoorsmen or tourists who would like to be able to go up to those mountains and look at the surrounding countryside. From the location that we were at when we brought the film back that we showed, I think it was like 2 months ago now, you can see all of Wisconsin into Michigan, and on a very clear day, you can see into Minnesota.
Oh, that's unusual.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Very unusual spot.
And there are only a few places in the country where you have locations like that.
Yeah, like the Grand Canyon or
Yeah,
something.
that's right. So as soon as we learn more, I just wanted all of our faithful viewers interested in the Pinocchio Mountains to know what we're going to be doing about that. Well, we had some suggestions from viewers who said, why don't you talk about hot weather and dogs? Man's best friend.
We got the hot weather.
We've got the hot weather, and there's quite a few people. I think the last count I got was something like 17,000 registered dogs in Appleton.
In Appleton alone.
Yeah, in Appleton alone. So that means there could be quite a few hot dogs.
Oh.
Okay, gang, let's laugh. That was funny. Very good, very good. Seriously, the question of hot weather and dogs is something that probably should be reviewed every year, simply because people forget. Sometimes people are new pet owners, and weather like this has a tendency to creep up on us. I mean, remember how cool it was early in the spring?
Sure.
Then all of a sudden, bango, we get nailed right in the neck with this hot weather. So let me just get to this book. By the way, if any of you folks out there want a good book to help you raise a dog, particularly if you're a new dog owner, get this one. And I'll just flash it back real fast like this. You remember Barbara Woodhouse, who was on television in Britain? She was prime time fare back about 8, 9, 10 years ago.
The name rings a bell.
All she was doing was showing people how to raise their dogs. But you got to remember, the British are very fond of their dogs.
Oh.
I mean,
well, that and French.
Next to tea, I mean,
Is
there's
a dog.
nothing else but a dog, you know. So they take dogs and dog raising very, very seriously. And I think we're getting more serious about that in this country, too. We have it for a long time, but even more formally so. But to make a long discussion, a short one that you can get a lot out of in a hurry, I'd like to read from the book on the question of dogs and hot weather. And this might answer a lot of questions. And I quote, "No dog of any breed should be either vigorously exercised or worked on hot and humid days, or any day when the temperature approaches and exceeds 80 degrees. All dogs are descended from the wolf, an animal which evolved and thrived in cold and temperate climates, and today still flourishes somewhat remarkably in the tundra and even in the subarctic." Let's see here. I want to read the whole thing. Okay. If adversely affected by hot weather, dogs are quite prone to heat stroke and get that very easily. Some breeds can even suffocate to death. That's really something.
Oh, that's something. Well, like with you and I, if we have a sunstroke coming, we turn that color. You know,
yeah.
Dogs don't turn those colors.
Well, that's because you get a lot of hair.
Well, sure.
And I saw a dog, I witnessed a dog at one time that did get heat stroke.
Oh, wow.
And it's a kind of a scary thing, you know, and you
sure.
feel for the dog. The dog survived. The owner knew what to do, and it was just a little bit of carelessness of not realizing how hot the day was, and you know how much the dog had been running and working. And that's the next part of this chapter. It says during unusually hot, humid days, keep your pet in a cool place, sheltered, particularly from the sun. A basement location is recommended. If your dog is accustomed to long walks or running exercise, do it either during the early morning or the late evening hours. Never vigorously exercise a dog in open, hot sun. And then I clipped something out of another book here. It says, tips for hot weather humans and dogs. And again, this article here repeats the same thing that I just quoted. It says, run only during the coolest times of the day. When exercising in hot weather. Now, here's good advice for man and dog alike, or person and dog alike, if you happen to be a feminist out there. When exercising in hot weather, humans should try to drink fluids every 20 minutes. Dogs also should be given, now get this, small amounts of water at least every 20 minutes. After running, and once your dog has completely cooled down and stopped panting, then give water freely. But before that, give water only in small amounts. Do you know why they suggest that? This is particularly true of the large breeds of dogs. If you give them too much water at one time after they've been very vigorously involved with exercise, and this means not only just running in hot weather, but playing frisbee and ball or whatever, they can get a affliction or a condition known as stomach torsion, where literally the stomach turns around inside the dog's chest or body cavity, cuts off the blood supply, and it is a very painful death for the dog.
I'm sure.
I've known a party who that happened to, and it was not pleasant or pretty.
Yeah.
So particularly as I say, if you have a large dog, do not give that dog large amounts of water as the book suggests. You're not doing the dog any favor at all. Also, here's another thing. Use more caution when running dark-colored dogs. They absorb more heat than light-colored dogs. And then short haircuts for long-haired dogs will not necessarily keep them cooler. Remember, a dog's fur is the dog's insulator. Protects them from sunburn.
It's like an Arab's covering.
Right, exactly.
To keep the body moisture in.
Sure. And it says keep it, now here, this is important. Keep a careful eye on the dog's breathing and the dog's general condition. For example, let him rest more often, particularly if he begins to pant excessively or lag behind whatever you happen to be doing. So and the thing to keep in mind...
And that also goes for humans.
Oh, sure, definitely, sure, definitely. The thing is, we as human beings are supposed to be smart enough to know dogs can be very impetuous and go until they drop, so we should be smart enough for them too, and recognize that they're not some sort of a super creature of some kind. That makes me wonder about something, Tom. On days like we've been experiencing, those hot 90, well, this is coming recorded, of course. So the night that we recorded this program, the day was 96 degrees. What about the dogs at the dog tracks? Now, they're whippet, and some of them are greyhounds, but the greyhounds and whippets are they're kissing cousins. I think is what I'm trying to say. But again, they're not any super breed of dog. In fact, the whippet as a breed has only existed for 100 years. It's an artificial breed of dog.
Relatively short period of time.
Yeah, but it's still a dog, and is subject to the same thing that this book tells us. I think, my own personal opinion, I don't care what kind of care they think that they're giving dogs at a dog track, or some PR person comes along and says they're giving the dog. The fact of the matter, it is still a dog, and therefore it's really kind of cruel to run them in this kind of weather. Well,
they have air conditioning for the audience.
That's the point. We could start a whole new, they're talking about gambling as being an economic boon to Wisconsin and boosting our economy. I'll tell you what we do. These lard asses who sit in this air-conditioned comfort of the dog tracks, sucking whatever juice it is that cools them off, while these dogs are literally coming close to killing themselves out in the heat. We ought to take these lard butts and run them down the track and take bets on how long they're going to last before they fall over and collapse.
Might start a whole new sport.
Start a whole new sport, and I think it'd be a lot more fun than torturing these dogs.
We're excluding ourselves from that group, though. I haven't been over.
Hey, I would not associate with the type of crowd that hangs out at a dog track, because I do not believe that any person who has even the smallest amount of breeding or whatever would associate at a dog track. I'm sorry, that's my opinion of dog tracks and the people who hang out at them. And like I say, if the lard butts would like to start running around the track in place of the dogs, I'll be glad to take the bets and make the
And we'll bring a camera.
We'll bring our camera and we'll show it here, and we'll have ourselves a real exclusive. Derek, did we show the graph yet? We did. Okay. Could we bring the graph up again? I'd like to just have you folks take a look at this graph, and I'll explain it very, very quickly to you. This was developed by the Department of Agriculture, and it shows the weather conditions which are unsafe for dogs. And hot weather for a dog begins at 80 degrees. And as the humidity increases from 80 degrees up, the danger level for the dog is really accelerated. So kind of keep two things in mind. If the humidity is creeping up and the weather is creeping up, you know it's dangerous for your dog. As for the lard butts, well, they've had plenty to drink, so they will be able to run around that track and
in good shape.
In good shape. We're going to be back in just a moment.
Hello. Research indicates we Americans create too much garbage. So I have spent years developing worms that eat garbage at astonishing rates. Some eat more than others.
There's an easier way to save the world. Recycle. To find out more, dial 1-800-CALL-EDF.
This is the Valley's TV magazine, the Foxtowner.
You know, we can have a lot of fun during the summertime here in the Fox Cities. A year ago, they held the first annual, I think it's going to be annual, the first annual sock hop, and that was at Pierce Park. And everybody had a great time, all 50s and 60s kind of music, with original bands and original people of the 60s. And I understand that they're going to be doing it again. Well, let's go back to last summer. And by the way, after we come back from last summer, we'll be going forward into the future, and we'll be talking about flying saucers, but right now, let's go to the sock hop.
The Foxtowner. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Foxtowner. I'm your host, Bill Day, and with me still is our erstwhile Ranger Tom. Welcome back to you two again, Ranger Tom.
Glad to be back.
Got a question to ask you. If you don't want to answer it, that's okay. You don't have to. You can just say no comment or whatever. But do you believe in UFOs by any chance?
UFOs?
Yeah, you know, those little things that go up in the air going...
Yeah, the beep beepers.
Yeah, and the little guys come out, they got antennas like this, you know, and they say, take me to your leader, zap, you know.
I guess only in theory, as far the door is open, but I'm not a real, I'm I spent a lot of time looking at the sky and the stars and quite a few places around the country and around the world. And I have yet to see one, but that isn't to deny it.
Later on in the program, we'll show you what are purported to be flying saucers. However, yeah, I've got some thoughts on it. You know, I mean, when I was growing up as a kid too, you know, I read all the science fiction and went to the movies and on TV and everything, so all these, you know, space pictures, you know, remember Lost in Space and all the others. And I suppose like a lot of people, I kind of thought it'd be intriguing and kind of hoped that maybe one of the saucers would come down one day. And of course, none ever did.
Oh yeah, no, I was a Flash Gordon man. So.
Yeah, yeah. And it just, you know, just never happened. You know, I mean, you can't disappoint a little kid like that.
Oh, no.
Because then what happens is you grow up to be a disbeliever.
Yes, the American dream goes.
Right, and I am now a disbeliever in flying saucers. I don't believe they exist. I don't think they ever did.
We're going to tear up your Buck Rogers card.
Not until, well, we'll have flying saucers when McDonnell Douglas builds them. Yeah, then I'll become a believer again. But until then, I don't know. And I don't agree with Carl Sagan either, that he thinks that all these planets have people on it, you know.
You may get a phone call. We'll have to bring him on.
Carl Sagan can come and be on the program anytime he would like to. All he has to do is call me, and we'll be very happy to discuss the issue with him. But, you know, Tom, for better than, I'm trying to think, it's got to be going on at least 40 years where there have been, where science has made a concerted effort to determine whether or not there are such things as extraterrestrials. Most of it's been done by way of radio telescope monitoring, and there is yet to be a signal received that could be of intelligent origin.
Sure.
Mostly background noise from the sun, and that's not very interesting.
And our satellites up in space have been monitoring the ant herds in Russia. So I mean, you know,
that just doesn't. So you know, I think a person would be very safe to say they just aren't there. You should never say never. You know, even though my mind is closed, there's that much of a crack yet. So that if somebody can come along with some proof, I'll say, okay, you know,
bring them on.
You know when I would really believe that there are flying saucers? Now we're getting close to that time of the year when the EAA convention is coming upon us.
Oh, yeah.
And wouldn't it be nice if the flying saucers could join the guys at the EAA like we got in this tape right here? You guys are kind of slow in there, aren't you? I gave you a direct cue. You see a flying saucer?
They look like spacemen.
Yeah, could you see a flying saucer coming in with one of these birds? That would be great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's extend an invitation to all flying saucers to come to the EAA convention this year. And come to the Pioneer Airport. I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind about that. I don't know that a flying saucer really would look all that great sitting among those old warbirds and these old classic planes,
It would be definitely different.
You know, looking at the B-1s and the supersonic jets and all of the military craft that we had in the Gulf War, and you know, all their sophistication and stuff, there's something though about the old classics that really says flying more than all the sophistication.
Because it was really the pilot doing the thing.
Yeah, I would rather look at an old biplane than I would one of the new jets.
Well, we're always fascinated with the new, but at the same time there is a quality statement made by the older craft, whether it be a train or a plane or even an auto.
And that's why, you know, flying saucers are supposed to be so sophisticated. I mean, if they come from outer space, they certainly wouldn't belong with the classics. I mean, if they are flying saucers and they're just round and stuff, yeah, blah, like, you know, what's so great about it, you know?
I got a dish at home like that.
Yeah. Let's take a look at a couple of pictures of some flying saucers. At least the people who took these pictures say they are flying saucers. And let's kind of keep the picture of the warbirds in mind and compare these two with it. Either way, I think it would be nice if they'd show up at the EAA convention. Now these are some alleged pictures of VFOs that, I should say UFOs, that have been taken over the years. There it is, right up there in the sky. I think this was a shot that is supposed to have occurred in Arizona. And here's one that's appeared in several magazines over the years. Again, supposed to be a UFO. As I say, I'm skeptical, but I'll leave the door open. I could take one of my mother's dish plates and throw it up in the air and create the same effect. And then this is a current, well, that is supposed to be another UFO, but I think that's probably the planet Venus that was shot off in the distance. So many times Venus has been reported as a UFO.
Oh, it's so bright, yeah,
And
especially this time of the year.
And this is a false color image, which is also supposed to be a UFO. And they can be what you want them to be.
Let's talk brakes. Bad brakes can cost your life. Your stitch-in time is an inspection every 6 months, and maybe new low-cost pads or shoes. Or you can risk a major accident and a serious bill for new brake rotors or drums. Regular checkups are essential, and in the long run, save you money. Remember, bad brakes break budgets and bones.
Well, anyway, to put the horse to sleep, as they say, so we don't ride it for the rest of the night, you think any UFO people are going to take up our offer to show up at the EAA this year?
I think it's just nice to have them invited.
Yeah, yeah. Just so that, you know...
They're not feeling neglected.
That's right, yeah. And you know, I think that the most thrilled people in the world would be those who would be at the EAA and see what these things come. Where's that town on the west end of the state where this guy built this UFO port? And he actually expects a UFO to come and land there? I mean, that's the wrong place. This may be confusing to people. Just like I straightened you folks out on pasties on the last program, you know, never buy a Lower Peninsula pasty. All right, you folks on the UFOs who are receiving this on stray signal, never land a UFO in the western end of Wisconsin. It's by that long river that you see there. Land it where you see all those airplanes at the EAA convention. That's
good to give them direction.
That's where we could bring them in. One final thought. There is another bit of history that we've got to dash on one of these future programs, Tom, and that is the myth of Columbus.
Oh.
This is the 500th anniversary of Columbus.
That's right.
He is supposed to have discovered
what's already been discovered.
Right. Just like, for example, we learned recently that President Jackson was not poisoned. Yes. Therefore, history does not have to be rewritten. We will have to rewrite history. Because, and we don't have to exhume Columbus's body. Do you know what happened when they opened Columbus's tomb?
No, I'm afraid to ask.
They found a body in there, bones.
Mm-hmm.
They did not find the body of Christopher Columbus, the bones of Christopher Columbus. And it's been hushed up since that time. This is no stretching the...
Wasn't he buried in the West Indies?
I don't know, but there's a tomb that has his name on it. And they opened it up and found the skeleton of a teenage girl in the tomb of Columbus.
And Columbus didn't fit that.
No, no. Well, this is getting us... Tom, when you get that thing out of the way. There. Leave your friends at home. On one of our forthcoming programs before fall, we are going to prove conclusively that Christopher Columbus did not discover America. Not only did he not discover America, he didn't even know where he was going. And when he was headed toward America, he turned the ship completely around.
Okay.
All I can say is that he had a good press agent.
And that's when he found the hamburger.
In Seymour.
Seymour. All right. Should be fun.
I was also thinking of doing a program on sauerkraut.
Oh, yeah? All right. Well,
also
Rick is waiting.
from the Broad Seymour area.
Well, of course.
However, we're not going to do that because the Chinese are credited fully with getting sauerkraut started.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Along with gunpowder.
So we're not going to take that away.
All right.
That's the program. We'll see all you folks. Have a good one, whatever it is that you have good, and we'll see you again, Ranger Tom.
The Valley TV magazine, the Foxtowner, is seen twice monthly. Check your Cablevision TV program guide for the next Foxtowner date. If you have a subject idea, you think you should appear on the Foxtowner, or want to express an opinion, call the Foxtowner at 731-9790 any day after 11:30 a.m. Your calls are welcome. This is your announcer, Jim Shador, inviting you to join us again. Foxtowner is a Libra Day presentation.
And welcome on board to another edition of the Foxtowner. I'm your host, Bill Day, and with me, once again, is Ranger Tom.
Evening, Bill.
Understand that you've been up to the great North Country, the land of the Pinocchio Mountains, in the past few weeks.
I was in the shadow of the Pinocchios and stood in the midst of Lake Superior, or not the midst, but...
No, you wouldn't be here if you were standing in the midst of Lake Superior.
But I was freezing while it was 97 degrees in Ashland.
97 degrees.
I had to find a spring-fed lake to get warmer.
Huh. Did you spend any time down by the big lake?
Just in the Ashland area.
Yeah, well, that's on Chequamegon Bay.
Yeah.
Near famous Bayfield County.
We can see the lighthouse at the tip.
We're going to do a program on Bayfield County one of these days, and it'll come as somewhat of a surprise to a lot of the Fox Valley area residents, because Bayfield County is to Minneapolis and St. Paul what Door County is to the rest of Wisconsin and Illinois.
Yes, very much so.
I've got to say this, and I know I'll get killed by several people for doing this, but we'll prove it sometime later in the season on videotape. I think when it comes to... Now, Door County's attractive and it's pretty.
Yes.
But when it comes to real natural beauty, I think Bayfield County kind of leaves Door County a little in the dust.
Well, when you think of Door County, you're looking at the shoreline.
Yeah.
And there are some very forested spots up towards the islands, but they've cut off most of their timber. They have orchards.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're very beautiful in the blossom season.
And up in Bayfield, of course, they still got, the big timber.
Oh, very much so. Very and very tree shrouded.
I don't know how long it's going to stay that way, though, because I understand they're drilling for oil up in Bayfield County.
Well, a number of things are taking place in that region.
Yeah, it's real interesting. Well, that's for another program. We were just digressing there for just a moment. But anyway, welcome on the program. And for those of you who have written in for the pasty recipes, and there was quite a number of you, I expected about 2 or 3 people, and we got kind of a stack like...
That's pretty good.
Very, very credible, yes. Very reasonable. All of you people have your pasty recipes en route to you right now. So that's a good thing to...
let the word out.
Got a note here from a listener who wondered whether or not we would be able to comment on something, and there was a clipping from the paper, Tom, that came right along with it. And she asks the question, it is a lady listener, of the newspaper article which said that, and you know how they have these sex surveys every now and then. Remember, there was the Kinsey report, and there was the Johnson report, and all these other reports that supposedly Masters report. They delve into the mysteries of the American sex psyche. I don't know who really cares and what for, but I guess somebody gets a grant of some sort, and so they carry it out. The latest survey says that the average American, now I got to qualify that a little bit better. The average single American has 2.6 sex partners a year. Now, I can understand how, and we're all adults, this is adult time viewing now. I can understand how a person could have 2 sex partners in a year, how you could have 3 sex partners in a year. How do you have, and this is what this listener asks, how can you possibly have 0.6 of a sex partner in a year? 0.6. 2 points.
I think you maybe found the answer.
Friend of yours, Tom?
I know nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 0.6. You got a bruise, too. We'll be back.
News can change at any moment. Every day, there are events that affect your life. To keep up with a constantly changing world, you need CNN headline news anytime, all the time. Quick, concise world news, economic updates, sports highlights, lifestyle features. The latest news updated every 30 minutes around the clock. When you need news and information at a moment's notice, turn to CNN Headline News.
Pork nose.
Yeah, right. Oh, back on. Just reading. Welcome back to the next the next portion of the Foxtowner program. And Tom, we're kind of caught a little short there on the queue. But I was reading about this item in the paper about the apparent battle between some town in Texas and Seymour over who's claiming to be the hamburger capital of the world, or at least where the hamburger was invented.
Right.
Remember we did a thing on that a couple of weeks ago?
Oh, yes.
Actually, I received some mail, naturally, from that particular program, from folks who are, let's say they're sympathetic to the Seymourian cause of hamburger inventiveness, and suggested that this town of Hoyt, Wisconsin is not where the hamburger was invented, that they still insist it was Seymour, although we proved conclusively on the program several weeks ago that Hoyt, which is not even a ghost town anymore, it's practically, out of existence because it was one of the early pioneer lumbering towns in Wisconsin and railroading towns. But we proved that through the documentation we were able to dig up that Hoyt from northern Wisconsin is where the hamburger actually first showed up in Wisconsin. I mean, there's absolutely no question about it if a person wants to be academic about it. By the way, when you were up north a few weeks ago, did you by any chance happen to go by Hoyt or anything?
I know if I did, I didn't know it.
You probably wouldn't have. Hoyt is in the foothills of the Pinocchio Mountains.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
I was in Mellon, but I didn't roam the countryside.
Yeah, well, the Pinocchio Mountains run in the Mellon area. In fact, Mellon, as you know, is...
It's the big site right over right over the community.
Yeah, right. And Mellon is kind of down in the valley.
In the valley.
And that's the Pinocchios that are around there. So, but anyway, we have done some more research into this hamburger bit, and it's becoming very intriguing. But we might be catching some of our viewers a little bit at a disadvantage, because if you were not watching our program several weeks ago, where we did a documented program on Hoyt, you would not know exactly what we're talking about, and what we're going to be telling you about in a few minutes would make very little sense. So, we will make the statement once again, and then we will continue on. We are going to rerun a portion of the program on Hoyt. Prefacing it by stating Seymour is not, I say, is not where the hamburger was invented, nor is the town in Texas, which is challenging Seymour for this non-existent and unprovable title, where the hamburger was invented. And the hamburger came down to this part of Wisconsin and probably wound its way down to the St. Louis World's Fair as a result of its travels from Hoyt. And Hoyt, I would like to remind you, was a town that used to be in northern Wisconsin, no longer exists. Let us roll the tape from the last program. Okay, now this is a part of Iron County. You'll see a little number there that has 11 on it.
Oh, yeah.
Notice that, Tom? All right, that number 11 is the approximate location of where Hoyt, Wisconsin was. Now that blue is the Guile flowage, and when you drive up to Hurley, Ashland, it's usually to your left on US 2.
Oh.
Now this is what Hoyt, Wisconsin looked like.
Oh boy.
We had to do some digging to pull this out of the archives, but we found it. As far as we know, this is the only picture of Hoyt that ever existed.
Or at least the last of them.
Yes, 1882 is the date of this photograph, so far as we're able to determine.
Well, it looked like a regular frontier type town.
Oh, well, it was. It absolutely was a frontier town. That's what a lot of people don't realize, that you had the frontier here in Wisconsin. All right, this is a picture that we found in the Hoyt archive. That's the Hoyt Trading Center. Was the first building built in town, and the Indians, of course, were regular customers. And that's a black bear in front. They used to bring the black bear pelts to the Hoyt Center, and then
and the bear meat.
Yeah, and then they would get the things. Now here's a very interesting picture, because this ties in with the Fox Cities. Hoyt was connected by the Wisconsin Central Railroad to Menasha, and this picture was taken, I don't know what year, when the railroad was completed to Hoyt from Menasha, and of course they tried to simulate the gold spike ceremony.
Oh yeah, everybody turned out, yeah.
This is a blacksmith shop, was very important in any frontier town, even in Wisconsin.
Wagons or whatever.
Wagons, you made your tools there, naturally you shod your horses, fixed guns, and they even acted as veterinarians once in a while
and there's a lack of...
Yeah. Now this was a busy shop, you notice, they got 4 guys in there.
Yeah.
So that shows that the Hoyt shop was really... Now, right, the question, hamburgers. You see that Indian gentleman there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I think that's enough of the film to recall the story that we presented several weeks ago. We also showed a little segment of what Hoyt looks like today. You know, it's all grown back in and everything. But our premise is that Hoyt, Wisconsin is where the hamburger was introduced, or at least invented, to Wisconsin. It came down to Seymour by way of lumberjacks who left the woods and then ultimately
became farmers.
And then the hamburger itself was something that slowly kind of was carried by various people and then ended up being introduced at the St. Louis World's Fair.
Well, you know, in the background, a lot of the cuttings of the northern timber came down the St. Croix, or in the Mississippi and the Wisconsin. And they used to have races to get it down to the lower part of Wisconsin. Some went off to Chicago, and some went all the way down to St. Louis.
Yeah, those are where
they built. We aren't going to get much lumber out of Nebraska.
No, I understand that the
Iowa.
That the investors groups are not recommending investing in Nebraska sawmills at this point.
Not in their sawmills.
No, but no, what Tom says is right. And I don't know how many of you people are familiar with the Turtle Lake flowage or the Turtle Flambeau flowage up in the northern part of the state, and we're going to be taking our cameras up there later this summer yet, and getting you what may be the beginning of some fall cover
beautiful
for that area. But anyway, the Turtle and Flambeau rivers were also rivers where many of those log, I was going to say log jams, I'm sure there were some, but those log drives.
Yes.
They began, and then they went down into those rivers that you mentioned, and there were just these huge rafts of logs that came down.
And your trees in the south, it's a little hard to float upstream.
That's right, that's right.
And Arkansas has a lot of trees, but it's how do you carry it? Uphill.
That's right. So, and many of these began at Hoyt, where the hamburger began. Well, maybe we're wrong about that, Tom. Maybe the hamburger did not begin in Hoyt, Wisconsin, because I've been doing some additional research work here. And I would just like to share something with you that I ran into just this past week at the Appleton Library. And by the way, if any of you people ever get involved in research of any sort, I highly recommend your own Appleton Public Library, which is one of the top 50 in the nation. And that reference department that they have is excellent for anybody that needs to do any research. And I'm talking about heavy research. For example, where else do you find out about hamburgers like this? Not any ordinary library, let me tell you. I've got an old woodcut that I found that I want to show you. And here it is. What this is, and you might like to comment on this, Tom, it's a group of Indians who are smoking various types of game that they've obtained in whatever manner that they did. Let me read a little story to you about this. This was written by an explorer whose name was Lemoyne. Do you know any, does anything ring a bell with you at all?
Vaguely, I've heard the name, but I can't tell you much about him.
Well, he wrote this in 1591. Now get this number, 1591.
Yep. Not too many around.
Not 1882, not you know, the current era.
Where in the South?
This was apparently the Indians in Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. That particular area.
Okay. A lot of different tribes there.
Right, and he was he spent time in the 1500s with these Indians. And here's what he says about that woodcut that you just saw. He says, quote, they being the Indians. They set up in the earth 4 stout forked stakes. Some of this older English writing is a little tough to read fast, so if it sounds like I'm reading slowly, I have to get the point across. And on these steaks, they then lay others to form a sort of grating. Maybe we could get that picture back up on the screen again and you could see. Now, like woodcuts are not the clearest bits of graphic, but if you look very closely, you'll see that there is a grating type of setup, and then the game is on top of the grating. Okay, we can continue on here. To form a sort of grating. And then they builded them a fire underneath so that they would harden them, meaning the steaks, with the smoke. That was ingenious, taking saplings and making them hard by smoking them. In this process, they did use great care to have the drying of the meat perfectly performed to prevent the meat from spoiling. In other words, they were smoking their meat.
Sure, no refrigerators.
No refrigerators, especially in the South.
Yes.
I imagine things didn't hold up in the South in warm weather any better then than they would now.
Yeah, you think an hour or two with sunlight on a piece of meat, a hamburger.
Yeah.
Oh, it's enough to kill anybody.
I won't go on reading the whole thing because, like I say, it's a little bit difficult to read and is not that interesting. But it does go on to explain how after they did perfect, as the man said, the drying of this meat, then guess what these Indians in Florida and Georgia did? They put it in little earthen bowls and chopped it all up.
What do we call it? We call it by a more modern term.
I don't know. They cooked it again. And guess what they did? They formed it into little balls in their hands. And then they beat them flat. So there, ladies and gentlemen, we have still more in the deepening mystery in history of the hamburger. We have now traced the hamburger to Indians in the what we'd now call the Sun Belt South.
Yes.
In 1591, this as recorded by an explorer by the name of Lemoyne. So I don't know what to say to the good folks in Seymour.
We'll give them that they help publicize it.
No, I'll tell you what we'll say. Seymour invented the hamburger for Outagamie County.
There you go.
They have, maybe not for the whole world, but so far it looks like it's the Indians too. Seymour, nothing in the area of who invented the hamburger.
But it's early in the game.
Speaking about food, I just noticed this came in the mail to us here. Bill Day, the Foxtowners, from the Rice Council.
Oh, and that's centered in the Deep South?
It looks like we've got a tape here. I'll bet you it's all about food. I wonder if this would be as good as the pasties that we had here.
We'll have to try it.
Let's see, what have we got here? Opening up some of the mail. This, oh, look at this, folks. Isn't this exciting? Rice, can we get a close-up on that? I don't think we can, not on that camera. Okay. Well, anyway, what it says is rice to know facts. Sounds like a speech impediment. I have some rice to know facts. And what it says here is that September is National Rice Month.
Yeah, harvest time.
And I thought they sent us a tape here, but they didn't. We got a piece of foam plastic.
Oh, can't cook that.
And this is about the size of a normal 3/4 inch tape.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, we got to have a good show. I thought we could have a show on rice.
Well, we may.
Well, maybe we'll be able to have that.
That's an interesting subject right there.
Well, I'll tell you.
Wild rice is very common, and that's the name of the Menominees. Their name is wild. People are the wild rice.
People of the wild rice. Well, since we've shown that Seymour is not where the hamburger was invented, maybe we could show that the Menominee Reservation, for example, or the Menominee Nation is where rice was invented. Maybe we could trade off. Trouble is, a lot of history is as history needs to be written, not as it occurred. And that is a problem that we've always had with relating the facts of what happened. For example, Columbus. And this is the 500th year of Columbus's discovery of the New World. They call it now the New World. Remember when you were a kid in school, they would say, Columbus discovered America?
Yep.
If he discovered America, I discovered Venus. And we're going to be back with that right after this.
The Foxtowner, Stay tuned.
You know, to some people, the idea of Kansas and twisters means Dorothy and Oz. But where I grew up in Kansas, twisters are real. And real help comes from the Red Cross, not the Tin Man. Right now, the Red Cross is providing emergency relief, food, and shelter to families throughout the Midwest. And they need our help, because what they're experiencing is no fairy tale.
Contact your chapter. Support the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund.
Well, as we said a moment ago, this is the 500th anniversary of Columbus's whatever. And I guess a little later on this summer, early part of the fall, there's going to be some big doings about Columbus's so-called discovery. And if you were listening to last week's program, you'll remember it was on this program we told you that there's a great deal of confusion about Columbus as an individual. For example, there supposedly are 3 tombs which contain his bones. One is in, well, one's in Cuba. Another's in Spain. I don't know where the third one is. It escapes me right now. But anyway, it was in one of the tombs that when they decided to open it up to find out what was in there, because this controversy has been raging as to who really was Columbus and who is buried where, like, you know, who's buried in Grant's tomb.
Yeah.
Well, the answer is not that simple, because when they opened up the one tomb, they found the bones of this teenage girl, and everybody's wondering, well, now, who was this girl? What was this chick doing in his tomb? You know, I mean, there's all kinds of National Enquirer kind of stuff that you can get out of it. But when I was a kid down in the lower grades, and maybe at the same time for you, Tom, we were actually taught then that Columbus, that brave sailor and adventurer, discovered America. I mean, it was specifically told to us, Columbus discovered America. And this was pretty much the theme that was taught in the schools in the 1890s. Oh my God. Did I say when you and I went to school?
No, you're a little ahead of me there.
Well, for example, Columbus School in Appleton
Yes.
is definitely named after Columbus.
Oh, yeah.
And it was in that era, and probably into, oh, I'm thinking maybe through the 1940s into the 50s, when that was kind of the theme, like Columbus discovered America. And then, since then, there's been considerably more and better research, and it's been pointed out that Columbus absolutely did not discover America. There have been several other claims made that a Nordic by the name of Eric the Red was the discoverer, that possibly a Irish, was he a bishop or a monk? I should prepare myself better before I go on camera. But he was a clergyman, Father Brendan, who possibly discovered America. And all of these predate, of course, Columbus.
That time, yes.
And,
well, Leif Erikson, of course.
And so the question comes is, what did Columbus actually discover? Well, he discovered an island. It's actually what he found.
Islands, yeah.
And islands. But he did not discover the mainland of America.
No, he was theoretically looking for it.
Yeah.
And he heard from the natives that there were larger land masses.
But he didn't know if they were islands or what they were.
Larger islands.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to show you on the blackboard. In fact, I'll tell you what. Let's have a study in Columbus 101 on the program, okay? For that,
all right,
we need to go to the blackboard. Well, hi class, welcome to Columbus 101. I'm your instructor for today. My name is Mr. Day, and we're going to learn today about the, seem to have a lot of days around here, don't we? About the fact that Columbus did not discover America, and we're going to show you how. Now, if you'll just come to the blackboard here with me. First of all, we have to draw a map of Europe. Let's see if I can remember exactly how to do it. Let's start off with Spain. Spain is real easy to start off with. Here's Portugal in here. You all know about Portugal. And then we have France about here. And up here we'd have the Netherlands, and that's about all of the map of Europe that we need. Down here we have the Straits. And if you want to get into geography just a little bit heavier, here about is where Africa would start and so forth. So now you are all properly oriented to the map of Europe as it existed in about the year 1490. And I'm not so sure it's changed all that much since. Now, we'll go over to the other side here, and got to remember, these microphone cords only go so far. Well, I'll just draw this in here. Here is To get this to correct proportions, I think we better put Florida down here. And this would be about the way the United States mainland would look. Down here approximately we would have Cuba. And here are the Indies. Now the Indies, let's circle that because that's very important. The Indies is actually where Columbus landed, not up here. Now follow this course. When Columbus, I need a different piece of chalk for the course. Here, this is the course. When Columbus left Spain, he started in a westerly track like this. But somewhere along the line he got a little disoriented, and if you check in the historical maps that show this, you'll find that he made a loop like that before he continued on. Now, the dummy, he was headed right for the Carolina coasts. But did he land in the Carolinas so that he could have actually said, I discovered America? No. For some reason, he made a turn like that and went straight down, which is why it took him as many months as it did to get across the ocean, because he didn't go across the ocean, he went all over the ocean. Remember, he started like this, made a loop, headed for the Carolinas. He was probably within a couple of days of the Carolina shore. Makes this turn, goes all the way down. And meantime, if you remember the stories, his crew is mutinying on him. They're ready to throw him overboard, turn the ships around, and go back to Spain. He went straight down and landed down here. And these are the Indies. And he did not conceive at all that he was anywhere near, green chalk, the North American mainland. He called the people indigenous to the area Indians because he thought he was in India. Then he turns around and heads back to Spain. Well, that's the story of Christopher Columbus and his journey. Bring in Leif Erikson, who, we didn't put Scandinavia up here, but it's there, believe me. And Greenland should be here, and I forgot to put England in there. Okay. Leif Erikson bases in Iceland and comes into North America many, many years before the Columbus journey. So the question is, class, who actually discovered America? Was it Columbus? No, it was the Scandinavians. They discovered America. Just like Hoyt, Wisconsin is the home of the hamburger. Well, that picture of Columbus, he didn't look too happy with what we said, did he, Tom?
Well, if you were buried in 3 tombs, you'd be upset too.
Probably. You know, according to the reports, now that picture of Columbus is one of the first known paintings of the explorer, but according to the people who lived at the time who did write of Columbus, he supposedly had blue eyes and red hair and a ruddy complexion. Hardly the description of an Italian.
Yeah.
At least as we've come to know
As
them.
we've come to know it.
Yeah.
But the impact of the voyage reverberates to this very day and had great significance in Europe.
As far as opening the era of exploration was concerned, there's no question that that is really what Columbus did.
And the world was round. He brought out, and 100 years later, they refuted Ptolemy's theory of the universe.
You know, one of the reasons that the Spanish crown at first did not want to finance his campaign was that there was a belief among the scientists that if the world was round, and they were beginning to accept the fact that the world was round, that if you went on the other side of the world, you'd have to sail uphill and you'd never get back.
Yeah, it's hard doing that.
So Columbus showed that you could sail what was uphill.
Both ways.
Both ways, and that, of course, is the significance. Might not seem like a whole lot today, but in those days, it was a big breakthrough.
And in my study of the development of the compass, Leif Erikson was one of the key people focusing in developing the compass, which is well before Columbus.
Right.
Yet the news had not particularly reached the center of the civilization of the period,
That's
which
right.
is the Mediterranean.
So this is why all of you children out there should study geography. It's interesting, along with history. That's it. We've got no more time. We'll be back with more amazing facts on next week's program. I'm Bill Day, and with me will be Ranger Tom.